yeah, we are live. What is going on, guys? You're checking out an all new the RCWR Show. Let's bring me in a little bit more. I think that's a little better, right? Now we can hear me a little better. What's going on, guys? This is your Wednesday night edition of the RCWR Show. Lee Sanders here. We're coming at you for Wednesday night of November 13th, 2019. We are just a couple of minutes removed from an all-new AEW Dynamite and WWE NXT. You know, what was originally planned for tonight's show as far as coverage, I mean, yeah, we always talk about NXT, AEW, but I was also going to show some love to a lot of other promotions, but my God, we pretty much take a break for about almost 30-something plus hours. And my God, you want to talk about some shit that had hit the fan in a couple of areas there. But we'll talk about all of that in the later part of the show. But I do appreciate you guys that's going to be checking this out live, or maybe you're going to be checking it out on demand and on the downloads. Now, we're streaming. So you all know we're streaming in a couple of different outlets. We're streaming on our Discord server. We're also streaming the show via the RCWR Show app, available for free in the Google Play Store. Just search RCWR Show. We're also streaming via the Spreaker website, and we're streaming on YouTube. So if it's a case where you are on the go, we pretty much got you covered for all your respected outlets, and for the most part, your respected devices and everything. So, God, I felt as if my attention this week went a bit more towards AEW. I really felt, as far as flipping the remote goes, I felt I was more in tuned to AEW Dynamite. And if anything, I kind of felt as though when I did need to change the channel to see what was going on via NXT, I felt as though I was really doing it just to kind of get caught up to speed, because I don't know how some of you guys got your TV set up and everything, but the highest package possible, best package possible I have with Verizon Files, I can pretty much rewind live TV. So I can pretty much go back an hour plus with live TV and everything. So I found myself, after missing about maybe almost 15-20 minutes of the action from NXT, because I'm watching AEW, I would then try to show that same amount of time to NXT. But at times, some of the stuff I watched this week, I said, and I went back to AEW instead. So I'm a little bit curious how they're going to do in the ratings this week. I don't know how long we're going to be doing this show, because I had put in some new aligners. Oh my God, I haven't even had these in my mouth about 2 hours yet. Some new Invisalign trays. I haven't even had these in my mouth for about 2 hours. And, I mean, I'm feeling them. And usually when I first put them in, my mouth doesn't feel too good. So we'll see how this show goes. I'd like to be in and out. We'll see how this show goes. But yeah, according to some of the notes I had took, you know, I got to say, just on paper, really felt like AEW really had the better product for this week, but we'll see what goes down with those ratings, yeah? So, you know how we do it on this show. We kind of give you what was happening on each segment block from the respected shows and talk about it a little bit more and everything. So, jump right into it. AEW Dynamite, kicking off with Jon Moxley, and he had one hell of a squash match. I mean, my God, this squash match that he had, you felt bad for the opponent that he was facing, because the opponent he was facing, not for nothing, this man, a very reputable man in the Far East, a very, very reputable man to a certain degree. I'm talking about Michael Nakazawa. This was a straight up squash match. I don't even think this match had made it one freaking hour, man, and that's the sad part. It didn't even go a fucking hour. I'm sorry, I'm looking at something in the comment there. Yeah, as far as NWA Power goes, Brian, look, I've been looking forward to talking about NWA for a couple of weeks. It's particularly NWA Power, but it seems like every time I'm getting ready to talk about NWA Power, some other shit went down in the headlines, and so it gets backtracked. So, I mean, I hate to kind of burst the bubble a little bit, but I think it's only fair. Some of you may like what I'm getting ready to say. Others may not like what I'm getting ready to say. But one thing I am going to be doing this week, I am going to be talking about the NWA product. And I'm going to solely just talk about NWA product. Now, that sounds like good news, right? Here's where it gets a little funky and it goes, boo. Where it gets a little funky is the talk of NWA. That's only going to be for our Patreon members, right? That's it. So, and it's not a weekly type of thing. I'm just going to do like a one-off. And depending on the feedback for that, if more people would like for me to cover NWA and they want it to be much broader, maybe let it be a free-for-all edition and everything. What I'm doing with our Patreon audience, it would be more like a test pilot. And if they're okay with it and they want me to release it to the masses, then it will become a free-for-all. But I'm glad that we've got fans out there that are making it their business to see all different types of wrestling, and because there's a lot of variety out there in 2019. If you're not liking what you're seeing from one promotion, there's nothing wrong with that. You can always just, okay, there's so much variety. That is the best part. Somebody asked me a couple of months ago, Lee, what's your favorite era in pro wrestling as a longtime wrestling fan? And I said to them cold-heartedly, just honestly, I said, honestly, 2019 and beyond, because as long as I've been a wrestling fan, as far as the variety that is just at the touch of your fingertips, 2019 and beyond, it's like there's no excuse. You can go support whoever you want to support and everything, right? But yeah, I mean, you see how many shows we do every single day. I mean, I'm paying attention to some of my colleagues and the numbers that's out there for some of those NWA recaps and everything like that. I'm sorry, but my schedule as it is, there is not enough for me to even justify doing just a sole NWA recap. There's just not enough buzz for it. And it's a great product. It is. But there just is not enough. You understand what I'm saying? You see the numbers. If you are making your rounds and you're seeing who all's talking about NWA on post shows and all that, there's really not enough traction that's going around about it. Now, if you were to maybe jam pack it into a show like maybe this type of a show or our Monday night shows, that would be one thing, right? But that's as far as I'm going to go with NWA. So once again, recap, I will be talking about NWA, but at this point, it's going to be a Patreon exclusive. And maybe it can be some type of a deal where after our Patreon members have had access to that exclusive episode for X amount of days, then I will go on ahead and release it to the masses. And those of you that's been kind of wondering, what does Lee think about the NWA product? You guys will then be able to hear it. All right, let's continue on. Because like I said, I was looking forward to talking about that and a couple other things, but major headlines had went down. So I want to get through AEW and NXT as quick as possible. So AEW, Jon Moxley, he had a squash match. It was about 45 freaking seconds against Michael Nakazawa. I had the name right the first time. I was getting ready to call him Nakazawa. I don't know why, but I was getting ready to call him that. No, he had defeated Michael Nakazawa in about 45 seconds, and he then had grabbed the microphone and he cut a promo pretty short, very on point, and a little bit cryptic. And I say cryptic as I feel that's the right type of words you could use, because if you kind of read in between the lines a little bit, and we talked about this at great length on the Monday night show, which was my candid thoughts about the Jon Moxley, Kenny Omega episode. I'm not rehashing all that again. If you didn't check out Monday's show, I do encourage you guys to piggy on back, check it out when you guys get an opportunity. But it was interesting hearing Moxley pretty much say, hey, to anybody in the locker room, you see what I had did with Kenny Omega. I'm not stopping. I'm not stopping anytime soon. I'm going to keep doing me. I'm going to keep wreaking havoc all in AEW until I am the last man standing. And he said a couple of more things that really, when you go back and look at the match that he had against Kenny Omega on the pay-per-view there, you were kind of wondering how was AEW, how was particularly Tony Khan gonna respond to the blowback that Omega and Moxley match received. Were they going to cave and issue some type of a weak statement where, hey, they did their part. They said that this was a lights out match. They said that this was, something that was not officially part of the pay-per-view, that this was essentially outside of the AEW regular rules, to the point whoever won this match, it didn't matter because it would not count towards the overall record and everything, right? So you kind of went into that, okay, yeah, but some of the stuff that they did, some of the spots that happened with that match, a lot of people saying, don't like this match, wasn't for me, yada, yada, yada. But that promo, the brief promo that Moxley had cut, it was almost like basically what he was saying was, you've seen what I am capable of, and I'm not stopping that type of style anytime soon. And anybody that has a set of balls in the back and they think they can hang with me, step on up to the plate, because I'm going to continue to wreak havoc, right? That basically, when you break down the translations there, that's what it sounded like Moxley was saying. Well, sure enough, later on during the broadcast, we would see somebody step up to that challenge and accept. It would actually come in the form of our man, Darby Allin. Darby freaking Allin. Yeah, I just was going, holy shit. So, set this up properly for you guys. So, just about, felt like maybe 25-30 minutes into AEW Dynamite, we saw a triple threat match, and this had consisted of Peter Avalon, Darby Allin, and Shawn Spears, right? Triple threat match, everybody's going at it, they're fighting each other. Next thing you know, action goes outside of the ring a little bit. I know Joey Janela made a cameo, and he got right into the face of Shawn Spears. So they're pretty much brawling and everything. Meanwhile, you've got Darby Allin, Peter Avalon, they're going at it. Leva Bates watching that ringside and everything. And sidebar with regards to Leva Bates, maybe it was the outfit tonight. And I don't say this in a demeaning, in a degrading way or anything like that. I'm actually posing a legit question to you guys that watch Dynamite or will be watching Dynamite on demand. Is it just me, or does it appear as though Leva Bates had picked up just a tiny little bit of weight? Because her hips, I mean, look, I love my women thick, so don't dare come at me with the Lee, you're bashing Leva Bates. No, Leva Bates has been one of my all-time favorites. We actually had her on the show many years ago, and love her. She is, as far as awesome guest goes, very infectious, very energetic, very charismatic. She is awesome. Whenever she decides she wants to, like, regularly, I know she does a little bit of stuff here and there, but whenever she decides she wants to do something on a much larger scale of a podcast, kind of like a Colt Cabana and all that, I think she would really be fucking popping on all cylinders. But no, it kind of looked to me like Leva Bates picked up a little bit of weight, at least in the hips, and I'm not complaining. I'm liking it, right? Whatever new diet she's on, it's all good. But I don't know, if not, she's picking up a little bit more weight. Maybe it was just the outfit. Maybe the outfit was a little bit unflattering. I don't know. You know, what is supposed to be a boring looking librarian is actually kind of looking kind of sexy to me personally, kind of looking like if you hit on some Motley Crue girls, she's just gonna bust out and just take off them glasses and all that other good jazz. But yeah, Darby Allin, once it was pretty much one-on-one, he taking on Peter Avalon, it was pretty much a squash after that. So Darby Allin picking up the W, but then grabs a microphone afterwards and pretty much keeps his promo short and sweet, saying Jon Moxley, challenge accepted, and this made the fans kirk out big time. They were loving this. Okay, so now this is one of the main questions we were wondering with regards to Jon Moxley, which was what's next for him now that this feud is over with Kenny Omega, right? And essentially, when you look at the type of match that those two guys had, and you think about how long Omega and Moxley had been feuding with one another, you kind of go, yeah, for the big payoff to be that type of a match And basically, yeah, those two guys are never facing each other again. Okay, well, if this is how things are going to come to an end, and that's something that most fans are complaining about when they look at certain rivalries across certain wrestling promotions, with WWE being that main culprit. As many people will point out, why are they doing this type of a match? Like, I don't understand. A great example. One of the first times that the Fiend Bray Wyatt had locked up with Seth Rollins, it was at Hell in a Cell, and it was contested in a Hell in a Cell match for the WWE Championship. And a lot of people were going, wait a minute, this is the first time these two guys are meeting. This doesn't really make any sense. Why, usually when it comes to these style of gimmick matches, usually this is the culmination of a rivalry. Everything's pretty much coming to an end here. And that's it. This is their first time facing each other. Don't understand. Why are they, right? But then when you kind of go back and look at the history of Moxley and Omega, and for everything to culminate in that type of match that went down StarCast weekend, AEW Full Gear weekend, you're going, okay, so if these two guys don't lock it up again, that's what you're assuming, right? And there was a little bit of a brief nod to that rivalry, by the way, on Dynamite tonight. I like how Kenny Omega has not been cleared. You guys listening on demand and on the downloads, or will be, you can't see me putting up the fingers and the quotation marks there, but he has not been cleared. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks. And it was interesting because they showed like some pre-production stuff in setting up Dynamite for tonight, and Omega was getting checked out by the medical staff and everything. And they were like, okay, yeah, you got to take it easy for a couple of weeks. Cannot clear you to go back and do in-ring action. Not right now. You need a couple of weeks. You got to chill. And Omega's like, okay, yeah, whatever you need me to do, I'm there. Hey, I'm just curious what's going on with Moxley's injuries. And they were like, oh, Moxley, he's okay. He's a little bit banged up, but he's pretty much good to go. And Omega just kind of had a look on his face like, damn, he's not in the same position I'm in. It was almost kind of like that, but at the same time, it was just kind of, I would be shocked. I really would. If those two guys were to lock up again in a couple of weeks, I would actually be a little bit shocked by that, because, okay, after what those two men did at Full Gear, how do you follow that up, right? And I kind of like the point that Gino is saying in the chat. What's up, Gino? And by the way, we are taking super chats. I humbly got to issue an apology because I did not hear it, and I tried to figure out if I could somehow get the sound effect going and everything, but last broadcast, we actually had got a super chat, and it was from our buddy Missionary Thomas from Wrestling Soup. So, Mish, thank you for that super chat. I didn't even know till I was playing the episode back in post-production, and I had saw the super chat. So, sorry about that. Usually, if I don't hear it, I usually am in the chat room looking at what you guys are saying, and I know I was multitasking the other night, but tonight, I got minimum windows. I am looking at what you guys are saying in the chat. And I like what Gino had said in the chat, going back to Leva Bates. He said, maybe she's pregnant. That could be it. I don't know. Or it could just be the outfit altogether. It could be. I will give it the benefit of doubt, and I'll look at her once again next week. I'll definitely see what's going on, and I'll give you guys a new update, right? But yeah, so now we know that next rivalry that's going on there with Moxley. So it's going to be Moxley and Darby Allin, and I am all fine with that. The little bit of stuff that I've seen of Darby from the other promotions and everything, man, I'm ecstatic. I'm looking forward to it, and I would like to believe that now that officially AEW fans have gotten a true taste of what Jon Moxley is all about and everything, it's almost kind of safe to say, what the pattern is going to be, right? You're going to see Jon Moxley not throw everything in the kitchen sink out there on these Dynamite shows, and that he's going to save it up, it looks like, for their pay-per-views, right? But next week's Dynamite is going to be very interesting, because we would later learn during the broadcast that on next week's Dynamite, Moxley, Darby, they will be facing each other one-on-one. So I'm looking very forward to that matchup. What type of a match are we going to get, though? Is it going to be a straight up normal match? It makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? That if these two guys are going to be locking it up for the first time, you have it just be a regular match, right? And then maybe over the course of the next several weeks, you just tell that big epic story where maybe eventually these two are going to face off against each other. Gee, I don't know. Maybe in a last man standing match. I just kind of find it weird the way Moxley emphasized last man standing when he was cutting his promo earlier. So did Moxley kind of give a little bit of a sneak peek as far as what is ultimately to come for him? And is that going to come at the next AEW pay-per-view? Or is it going to be a couple of weeks from now on an episode of Dynamite where his program / rivalry with Darby Allin will culminate in a last man standing match? It's kind of something you got to have in the back of your mind as you keep on going there. So interesting how all of that had played out. Meanwhile, NXT, phenomenal opener. They had their NXT Cruiserweight Championship on the line there. Lio Rush successfully retaining against Angel Garza. Great fucking matchup. That was freaking killer good. I love that. Now, as far as opening up, you could almost say it's a tie to a certain degree because of the caliber and talent that opened up Dynamite in Moxley, right? But at the same time, you could also take a couple of points off because, well, not for nothing, but the guy he faced, it was just 45 freaking seconds. He was in and out, cut a 90-second promo, and he's pretty much in and out. So, if you want to deduct some points off of AEW for that, you actually can. So, for me at least, I would say the first segment block, NXT definitely won, especially with the great storytelling that they had there with Lio Rush and Angel Garza. I expect nothing but big things to happen for Angel Garza down the road as far as moving up to the main roster and all that goes. I expect big things in his future. I think, I dare say, look, I like what's going on with my man, with Zelina Vega. Andrade. I like what's going on with Andrade and everything, but Garza, man, yeah, that's all I got to say. I don't know. Maybe we can eventually see a case come about where Garza and Andrade, Vega. I mean, that'd be an interesting little trio stable right there, right? Not for nothing. Segment 2, let's go. Segment 2, Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy, they were in action. Now, for segment 2, it's kind of interesting how this had played out because in segment 2 and segment 3, Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy tag team match. They had took on the Dark Order. So that basically had went on for 2 segments. And as that was going on, NXT, you had Xia Li taking on Aaliyah. And let me just talk about that match for a second. I mean, look, that match, it was okay. Nothing really bad about that match in any type of way. But the closing moments of that matchup is where things had got really interesting. And Aaliyah's message on Twitter afterwards was very eye-opening, right? Okay, so the closing moments of this matchup, and look, Xia Li's been fucking killing it. Her and Io Shirai, the transformations that they've been able to do within recent months, I've been loving it big time. I don't know about you guys. It's been adding more color to them as far as I'm concerned. It's been adding more personality to them. And that's something I can really fucking get behind at the end of the day, right? Closing moments of Xia Li taking on Aaliyah. So we see Xia, she comes off of the turnbuckle. She does a double axe handle onto the back of Vanessa. Onto Aaliyah. And then she freaking follows it up with, actually, you know what? Hang on a second. Is it Aaliyah or is it Vanessa? Because in my notes here, I have, I think I know why I have that. Actually, let me back up a second. Because I actually took a freaking picture of the image in question here. Hang on a second here, guys. Let me pull up the image here that I'm talking about. Okay, Vanessa Bourne. I apologize. I don't know why I kept saying Aaliyah there. Kind of weird. You got me on that one. Sorry. But no, Vanessa Bourne is who Xia Li had faced. Glad I caught that while we were still live on the air. So, yeah, she does the double X handle from the top turnbuckle and everything. Then you see this interesting sequence come about where she looks for a spinning kick. The first one doesn't connect. The second one hits homegirl Vanessa in the face. Goes in for the cover. 1, 2, 3. Match is pretty much over. That's it. It's done. Now, immediately you see officials go in, check on Vanessa and everything. Xia Li, she is celebrating. And camera just, I don't know if Triple H was a little bit curious, like if he wanted to show some stuff for the people at home or what. But camera cuts on back over to Vanessa Bourne. And Vanessa has a bloody freaking face. And blood is just coming out of her mouth onto a white towel. And you're like, woo. Damn, homegirl, and I put the tweet out. I said, damn, my girl is bleeding. And not because it's that time of the month. Good goddamn, right? I mean, she was bleeding like that. And the face that she showed afterwards on Twitter, right? Some of this stuff, you guys may be a little bit too squeamish. So I know usually when we do the live webcast, I'll do screen shares and all that others. I don't want to do that, right? Because some people may not have a strong stomach for that, right? I say that, but at the same time, some of you guys, you like your MMA and your boxing and all that. But I think in this case, and since it involves a female, a delicate looking woman at that, I don't want you guys going, but she shares this image. It's worth going out of your way. If you all are curious, it's worth going out of your way. You can look her up on Twitter. And anybody that wants to post a link, you can do that as well. But you can look her up on Twitter at her handle, Vanessa Bourne, WWE. Make sure you spell Bourne, B-O-R-N-E. And her nose is pink like I don't know what. It's swollen like I don't know what. She's got the blood, all that. And she puts out a tweet. She says, wow. Let's give it up for the sloppiest person in the locker room, Xia Li. Bravo, you've outdone yourself, right? And it was kind of interesting seeing some of the comments that were coming in from some people that were reacting to this and everything. And I'm not trying to put any names out there. I don't want people to feel as though I'm homing in on them and I'm picking on them and everything, right? But I thought the level of scrutiny and the uproar that was coming at freaking Xia Li for this spot, I just thought it was hilarious because we had people, I'll tell you one comment. One person had actually said, man, Albert needs to get a hold of his kids. What's going on there at the Performance Center? Albert needs to do a better job with his kids. That was terrible as fuck. That was sloppy as fuck. Yeah, he's got to get a better grip on his kids. And then, the agents need to be fired. That was unacceptable. What the hell were they thinking? Totally unacceptable. Unprofessional and all this. And, I looked at this photo and I posted a tweet of Jerry, not Jerry, Tom from Tom and Jerry, the cartoon. And I've got Tom just throwing up his hands in the air, shrugging with a big smile on his face. And I captioned that off with, accidents happen, right? So for me, I look at this and look, as long as I've been looking at Xia Li matches, now look, I'm not going to say I'm an NXT expert. I'm actually getting back into the groove of things as far as watching NXT regularly. And a large part of that is due to the fact that it's going head to head with AEW, right? But what I can tell you is the handful of times I've seen Xia Li, definitely before she did this transformation and everything, man, probably one of the most safest workers in there, right? So for me, and just thinking back to, okay, so how long has she been in the WWE now and everything? Wait a minute, she was involved in the Mae Young Classic tournament, right? If not mistaken. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, because sometimes my memory is a little bit, right? It's like pulling cobwebs sometimes. But you're kind of going, she's usually pretty good. So for me to look at a situation like what had happened tonight, it's a freak accident. It's a freak fucking accident. you could add it up to a couple of things. You could say, okay, hey, maybe Xia Li had put a little bit too much into that spinning kick. Maybe you could say, oh, well, Vanessa, she didn't quite time it as far as when she was supposed to drop. You know, shit like that happens. Let me see you go onto a set and you're supposed to be doing some fake fighting and you're supposed to take 10 punches to the face, right? Let me see, as far as how many takes go, let me see how many times you're going to be able to get out of there without any of those punches freaking connecting with you, right? I know a lot of times when Rocky, Sylvester Stallone, used to be doing this thing with the fight choreographing and all that shit, real hits actually used to fucking happen. I remember there was one spot that had happened, I forget in which Rocky movie, but I think production had came to a halt for a couple of days as a result of somebody got connected. I can't remember if it was Stallone. I want to say it was Stallone that actually had got connected with a punch, and it was, hey, yo, wait, time out, man, hey, yo, you know, it's one of them type of deals. But I mean, accidents happen, but I love the fact that Vanessa took advantage of this opportunity. That's the key thing that everybody's missing right here. She took advantage of an opportunity, not only to get herself over, because after all, she had got color there, right? But also putting over Xia Li and everything, right? So, yeah, you could almost go in here and say, oh, man, what a fucking shoot. Hey, she kind of, you know, she shot on her, man. Like, what the fuck, right? You can look at that as a shoot. You could also look at it as, oh, man, look at me trying to get sympathy brownie points for what happened with me in this match against this unsafe, you know. And it's like, no, you look at Xia Li and, yeah, that fucking lives up to this new badass persona that she's been running around with as of late. I'm all fine for it. Now, if WWE wants to go to the drawing board, and you could almost kind of look at this like the Nia Jax, right? Becky Lynch situation. You could almost kind of look at it like that, and you could kind of go, okay, well, what does WWE do right here, right? Gonna have to watch where this goes in a couple of weeks. But if WWE, and I mean, last I saw as far as the feedback goes, as a matter of fact, let's give it to you now in real time, because I'm actually going to do her a solid, and I'm actually going to look her up right now to see what's been going on with that post since she posted it. And right now, let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, her engagement is killing it right now, man. She's got 507 likes. She's got 106 retweets. She's got 63 comments. Yeah, that's decent engagement. I'm curious where it's going to be once it catches fire as far as forums, wrestling sites and all that. I wonder if it might double, maybe same time tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see, right? But that was a good match. Also, Marco Stunt, Jungle Boy on AEW, they were in action. Yeah, they had lost once again, and we actually saw the Dark Order issue a proposal, particularly to Marco Stunt. And the proposal that was given to him was, hey, look, you would do so much better if you ditch the team that you're with right now and you came on over to our side. You would definitely be a winner on our side. We admire the fact that you got a lot of spunk, that you have all this great potential. You've got that can't die, never say never attitude. You just keep coming back, right? No matter how many times we've handed you your ass, you just keep coming back. That's a good trait. We like that. We just think you're on the wrong side. Come join our side. And they actually give him a mask, and he's actually contemplating it, but then Jungle Boy interjects, and that's when Dark Order decides, okay, well, if you're going to roll like that, gringos. I don't mean to call them gringos, but that's what I'm calling them. That's what I'm calling them tonight, right? Creepers, whatever their name is, creepers, whatever, attack, right? And they start jumping on them. Our boy Luchasaurus finally made his return. We thought maybe we weren't going to see him until January, as some of the reports that were being put out there by AEW, Tony Khan and everything. But nah, Luchasaurus is back. Looks to be a bit more defined. It looks like he's been working out, shredding a little bit of weight, a little bit of body fat, just a tiny bit of body fat. He's looking a little bit more well-defined and everything. Came on back, helped even up the odds. So once again, we've got a boy, a man, and they're dinosaur. They've reunited. But when it counts the most, is this now the beginning of some type of a new streak, right? I mean, because look, man, that team, no matter how you cut it up, whether it's Marco and Luchasaurus or Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus or Marco with whoever, right? They've been at the losing end for these tag matches, man. So what we saw tonight in the crowd was white hot, particularly for Luchasaurus. Definitely for Jungle Boy. A little bit of something for Marco Stunt. A little something there for him. But now that the trio is back, is it safe to say that we're going to be able to see big things happen for them? Are big things even on the horizon for them? We'll have to wait and see how that comes about. All right, so we had a segment 3 block where on NXT, the Undisputed Era had faced off against Keith Lee, Matt Riddle, and Tommaso Ciampa. It was a trash talking segment, right? And a little tiny bit of a brawl, but essentially it was setting up Keith Lee taking on Roderick Strong. It was a damn good match. Had a couple of segments there that it had bled into. No problem there. Damn good. I continue to be amazed at Keith Lee. I see Keith Lee is kind of like your boy over here, losing a little bit of weight as well. He's not as rounded and as out as he was in previous months and everything. So I'm liking that he's slimming down and everything, but he still has that menacing build to him and everything, that intimidation factor and everything. I'm loving that. But my match of the night, as far as NXT goes, I definitely, other than their main event match, I definitely got to give the nod to Keith Lee and Roderick Strong. I thought they tore the fucking house down tonight. Great matchup that they had. Keith Lee coming out on top, Undisputed Era, jumping on them all afterwards. And we saw, I'm going to try to pronounce this, and if I butcher it, you got to give me a couple more weeks. I'll have his name down. But Dijakovic, he actually came to Riddle and them's aid. And we see Tommaso Ciampa, looking on at him, kind of nodding his head in approval. And Dijakovic said, hey, War Games, count me in, right? He wanted in. So Tommaso Ciampa shook his hand. But then the real story was, okay, well, how's he going to react to Keith Lee? Because they've got a storied history and everything. Keith Lee stared him down, sized him up a little bit, extended the handshake as well. So Dijakovic, he's in on the War Games with those guys. Now, later on in the night, we would learn that Matt Riddle has been pulled from that War Games match, as he's instead is going to be facing Finn Balor. So that's how things kind of balance out with Dijakovic sliding in there and everything. Also, we had a mysterious, it kind of felt like SmackDown 2, Know Your Role. We see all the women from the NXT roster, they've all been attacked. So different points during the night, we're going outside and women are being attacked to the left. Women are being attacked to the right and everything. Some of the women that were laid out, we saw freaking Jasmine Duke, Marina Sharif. There was another spot where Rhea Ripley, Candice LeRae, they were laid out. And by the way, nice cameo by Scarlett Bordeaux. I'm not sure for those of you that had watched NXT tonight, if you had spotted her. If you did, good eyes for you there. But in one of those beatdown segments, you briefly did see her. So I thought that was kind of cool how they had her in there. I'm glad. I'm happy for her, but can we figure out what's going on with Killer Cross is my only other question. So yeah, you had this mystery as far as who the hell is beating up these girls in NXT. Like who's doing this, right? Is it one person? Is it a army? What the hell is going on here? And essentially we kind of got our answer as far as who may have been that individual, because it was an individual. I'm kind of jumping around a little bit, but it does kind of tie into the NXT main event match. The main event match had consisted of Mia Yim. Mia Yim was in action. That was actually, by the way, that was an insane ladder match. I enjoyed that ladder match on so many freaking levels. I continue to be amazed at freaking Mia Yim. Particularly, I continue to be amazed at how she's being properly utilized in the WWE. Of all the women that have come through WWE, you know, some of them I go, okay, I've watched them on the independents. I've seen them in action with other promotions. I don't really know if it's going to be okay for them, but we'll see what happens. But she is off to a damn good start down there in NXT. I definitely got to give her props for that. Got to give WWE props for that. But yeah, her ladder match against Io Shirai fucking killed it, man. This was the damn match of the night. Loved it. Fucking loved it. What more can you say about these two girls that were just going into this ladder match and they were just putting it all fucking out there? I mean, putting the balls out there, all on the line, all in the good name of fucking entertainment. And it's matches like this combined with what you see happening in other promotions with respected women's divisions that you go, man, as far as women's wrestling goes in 2019 and everything, you know, man, it's off on all cylinders. It's popping big time and everything. But yeah, man, these girls fucking tore it up. Closing moments of this matchup. Got to point out, you couldn't help but wonder who the X Factor was going to be, because Dakota Kai actually had spoke with Mia Yim right before this main event match had went down. And she said to Mia Yim, hey, look, I want you to know, no matter what, I'm going to have your back no matter what, just so you know, right? Push comes to shove, I'm there for you. So remember, we kind of saw what had went down last week where Mia Yim had got that final spot. Dakota Kai was left out in the cold because she didn't get the job done in her match and everything. And she seemed as though she wasn't a happy camper about that. So you're kind of looking at this one, kind of wondering, okay, is she maybe going to defect and help out the other team? And it's going to kind of like be the big payback and everything, right? But closing moments of this matchup, we saw Dakota Kai. She went to go check on Mia, but both had got wiped out by a moonsault by Io Shirai. And then Io had head back up, tried to set up the ladder. Meanwhile, Dakota had cut her off, hit her with a sit-out power bomb, then went to go help Mia get to her feet and everything. Mia got bloodied in this too. That's the other thing that I've loved about Mia Yim. Mia ain't scared of no blood. She don't care. The chick, when she needs to be, if she needs to get hardcore, she can get freaking hardcore. If you saw a little bit of what she was doing in Impact Wrestling, at least, you know, because I know not everybody can check out all of the other promotions and everything, especially some of those exclusive women's promotions. But if you at least saw the tail end of what she was doing in Dollhouse over in Impact Wrestling a couple of years back, and you saw afterwards how hardcore she ended up becoming and everything, and you kind of already know that, yeah, as far as hardcore goes, the extreme, yeah, this girl can definitely take it to the limit and everything. But picking it back up with the closing moments of this matchup. So bloody Mia Yim on her feet. She's trying to climb, but the NXT UK Women's Champion Kaylee Ray, she comes in there. She throws Dakota into the steps, knocks the ladder over, sending Mia Yim crashing outside and everything. Ray helps Io Shirai up to the ladder, and she pulls down the briefcase. I think the briefcase had to do with a War Games stipulation. You guys got to forgive me because I don't quite know what that stipulation was all about. You guys would have to let me know, but I know it had tied into War Games. That match got a lot of storytelling time that luckily too, I personally feel for a main event match, and rightfully so. That match itself had got about 20 minutes, and that includes your overrun for once AEW Dynamite had went off the air and everything. Now, post-match is where it gets interesting, because just when you thought it was safe to turn off the TV, Many of you guys might have missed this now. Bianca Belair, she came out and she's standing with Kaylee Ray and Io and everything. Io, she's standing on the ladder celebrating. Shayna Baszler music's hits. And remember, she's the team captain. She's walking out. She's pointing to Kaylee Ray, who seems to officially be the fourth member of Team Shayna. But then out of nowhere, Baszler gets attacked from behind and laid out by none other than the WWE SmackDown Women's Champion, Bayley. Yeah, freaking Bayley had hit her from behind, hit her with a chair, hit her with a face buster and everything, and just went running off as Bianca Belair and the other girls, they were like, what the hell? So now you're kind of under the impression, well, wait a minute. As far as what had went down earlier in the night with the rest of the girls, is it remotely possible that it was Bayley that laid out all of those girls? Now you kind of have to watch SmackDown to see exactly, okay, so what's going on here. But one thing that I want to home in on, as you're paying attention to this whole invasion angle, right? I mean, so far, you could make the argument that NXT is still top dog for what they had did on SmackDown and what they had did on Raw and everything, right? Okay, so last week it was the OC, and that pretty much was it. This week, you've got Bayley, and you're like, oh, okay, that's great and all. It is, it's great. But, man, next week, man, we got to set up Survivor Series. Is that where things are really going to get popping? You know, is that going to be the episode where maybe Seth Rollins brings the fight to the front steps of Triple H, right? And really, you can't help but wonder, right? But I think still, and we all could be in agreement, that it's been a little bit lackluster. What's been happening with some of these invasions. You see what's been happening with Raw the past couple of weeks since they've been in the UK and everything, and as far as the invasion goes, that's been a little bit flat. You know, you go to last week's SmackDown to a degree, that was a little bit flat, right? So, yeah, you know, you're really hoping that they kind of redeem themselves going into this Friday SmackDown, and then you've got the final 3 shows in setting up Survivor Series weekend and everything. So, going back to AEW, probably one of the greatest freaking segments of the entire night had involved Chris Jericho, MJF. Loved it. I mean, watching those two guys go back and forth, and if there's just one segment from AEW I could say go out of your way and check it out, you'll thank me later. Jericho, MJF. Now that MJF is essentially free, you know, and we're getting to see the true MJF. We don't have to worry about MJF running beside or behind Cody Rhodes and not really saying anything and being the recipient of an ass kicking or whatever, you know, not really talking and everything. This was the type of spotlight. You cannot have planned it any better for MJF. The crowd was literally eating out of the palm of his hands. The reactions that he was getting for what he did to Cody at Full Gear, man, he did not blink worth a damn. And you want to talk about, man, if there was ever any type of pressure on a young man, okay, kid, here you go. This is your moment. Seize the opportunity. And by the way, you're going to have to carry that segment along with veteran Chris Jericho, the current AEW World Champion. Go out there and hit a home run, kid. Don't break a leg, right? Or whatever. I mean, he went out there as poised, as confident, as if he has been doing this his entire freaking life, and he hanged. I was under the impression maybe, just maybe, stuff was going to get to him a little bit. Maybe he'd fumble with his words, and that's okay because he's lost in the moment. It's now dawning upon him how surreal things are right now as far as where he is at this moment and just everything that's happening right before his very eyes and everything. But man, no, went in there and hit a home run. I'm telling you, watching him and Jericho, natural, great fucking chemistry those two men have. It was almost like watching something from the Attitude Era where Jericho and The Rock are playing off of each other or whatever, right? two of the most charismatic guys, and they're just playing off of each other. And it was almost kind of like that type, And see, you can easily refer to the Attitude Era and be like, oh, well, these elements of the Attitude Era were good. I know we're in this day and age where a lot of fans, we want Attitude Era. We want Attitude Era to come back and everything. Not everything about the Attitude Era was good, but if there's one thing that everybody can agree upon with regards to the Attitude Era, when it came to everybody, take your pick, APA, Big Boss Man, Jericho, Ken Shamrock, Steve Blackman, Kurt Angle, the New Age Outlaws. I mean, take your freaking pick, man. There were so many guys on that roster that were always challenging each other, whether it was on the microphone or in the ring. Everybody could freaking deliver, and if somebody had to go out and they were gonna be not available for some weeks or whatever, it was one of those deals where next man up. And that's what I just immediately I didn't even have to overanalyze. I'm just looking at, wow, this is a magical moment that we're seeing right here. And this young man in MJF, I mean, to Gino's point, yeah, I mean, he is going to be a big star. He is going to be a impact player for many years to come. And I remember when I was talking about MJF a couple of weeks ago, I remember saying the one thing that I really like about MJF, he reminds me a lot of Ethan Carter III, like where Ethan Carter III was when he came into Impact Wrestling, just amped up times 10. I don't know exactly what it is, because if you really stop and think about it, that gimmick that EC3 had in Impact Wrestling, before there was a kind of a little tiny period there where it kind of seemed like he was kind of going face there, but I'm just particularly talking about his heel run. You look at his heel run in Impact Wrestling, and you look at what MJF is currently doing, and to a degree, it's almost a mirror image, but there is something that MJF has that at that point EC3 was lacking. I don't know what it is. I wish I could put the words together and tell you all what it was that was missing, but I think you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Your promotions and everything. There's just that one little thing that EC3 just did not have that MJF has, and he has just been able to ride that bad boy out. Anything he touches. And the other thing that I like about MJF, and I gotta give him mad props for this, he is consistent as hell. Interviews, meet and greets. Did you all look at some of the stuff that was happening from StarCast weekend and some of the people that had the opportunity to get their autographs from him and everything? Oh man, he kept it rocking and he kept it rolling. He was doing autographs, writing insults. There was one I just thought was hilarious, and you could tell the woman was pissed off. There was this nice looking redheaded woman, older woman, looked like maybe she was in her, and I don't mean, look, if she's younger than what I'm getting ready to put out there, I don't mean no disrespect, but to me, she looked as though, and maybe she smokes, so if she smokes, maybe she needs to lay off the cigarettes, but, older, decently cute, redheaded, kind of dark brunette woman with glasses, white woman. She looked as though maybe she was in her mid-30s, give or take, and she showed a picture that MJF had signed for her at the StarCast event, and it said "to whore" from MJF, and you're going, holy shit. So I mean, he continues to embody what you see of him on TV and everything. And yeah, man, his segment with Jericho, he stayed with him, hung like a motherfucker, and yeah, in the end result of that was basically Jericho saying to MJF, I heard that you wanted to join the inner circle. MJF countering back at Jericho, I heard that you wanted me to join the inner circle. And they just kept going back and forth like that until finally they came to an agreement where, hey, Cody's a jackass, right? And poor Cody coming out there.
trying to, by the way, what was going on with Cody Rhodes in that segment there? Cody Rhodes coming out and he's trying to race down the ramp, charge at these guys, right? He gets the one up on MJF, and then he's supposed to take Jericho in his arms and hurry up and do a quick snap suplex and everything. And, oh no, a power slam, forgive me. He was supposed to do like a quick snap power slam to Jericho, and I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was his alligator shoes or what, but man, that's going to be on Botchamania this week. That much I know for sure. Now, he redeemed himself a little bit, but you kind of looking at that going, Cody, you know, maybe them stitches to your head, maybe you still are recovering from the amount of blood you lost over the weekend, brother. But yeah, that whole thing, that was just awesome. I enjoyed that, ate that up. Speaking of Jericho and all that, you know, they did have a main event match. Weird main event match too, because Jericho, Sammy G taking on SCU for the tag titles. And you're going, how does this make sense? Like, I don't quite understand what's going on here. And hey, the end result, I like what happened, because the end result, no, it was not Sammy G and Jericho becoming new AEW tag champions. No. And a shocking upset, Scorpio Sky was able to get the 1-2-3 on Jericho. And that was pretty much how AEW had went off. I mean, it was a great little tag team match and everything for what it was worth. But to basically see the AEW World Champion Jericho, okay, you know what? Let's make this happen, right? I like that about Jericho. I really, really do. And it is a testament. And I don't think many people are going to be homing in on this particular thing I'm getting ready to say this week, which is with regards to Jericho. Jericho, say what you will. Older guy, you know, what? Say what you will. Jericho has always done his best to elevate everybody around him. Take your pick from what he has done so far with Heyman Adam Page. Even though Cody Rhodes did not need the match at Full Gear, he took, in one night, he took Cody to that next level in front of a North American audience as far as future main event champion, right? In Cody Rhodes. Say what you will. Now, some people can make the argument, yeah, but Cody was already doing his thing, and okay, that's New Japan. Not everybody was watching New Japan, right? So what Jericho has been able to do thus far with his involvement in AEW and everything, right? And then look at the rub off that he was able to give to Santino and Ortiz, which, by the way, that was a nice brawl that they had set up with them and the Bucks, especially when they went into commercial, and you're wondering, okay, how are we going to come back from commercial? And you didn't have to worry that long, right? You didn't have to wonder, because they did a split screen. You're getting the commercials, and then technically AEW is taking their commercial break, but you're seeing the brawl continue. And I like the little cameo that freaking Orange Cassidy made there, where one of the guys, I think it was one of the Bucks, had got slammed into the men's restroom, and there's Orange Cassidy just hands in his pocket, leaning up against the wall, you know, over by the toilet, and you're just kind of wondering, fuck is he waiting for? Like, okay, yeah, and just imagine that. Just imagine you're getting ready to go use the bathroom. You know, you're like, oh man, I gotta do number 2 bad. Oh man, it's gonna come out, man. It feels like it's gonna be a python tonight. And you're just getting ready to go in there, and there's freaking Orange Cassidy with his shades on, and you know, he's got his little 80s jeans and jean jacket on and everything, and he's just got his hands in his pockets looking on, and you're kind of like, yeah. And that was just what was supposed to be a serious moment. I don't know which, I don't know if it was Santana or Ortiz, but I just loved how they sold the hell out of that. It was just the nice quietness to that segment, and seeing his reaction, and then just quietly shutting the door, not even acknowledging Orange Cassidy, just quietly shutting the door, and then proceeding to beat the crap out of the Young Bucks again. I ate that up. That was just hilarious. But yeah, going back to Jericho. Okay, so the rub off there with those guys, the rub off with MJF, the rub off to SCU, right? I mean, Jericho has shown, and it's a respected track record. You can even go back to the multiple times in the later years in WWE and everything in particular. You know, really all throughout his career. But if you really want to just be like, well, nah, let's home in on what Jericho has been doing, you know, say the past 10 years. You know, he has always tried to do his very best to elevate the people around him. And, you know, here was a case right here where it could have went the old ways of WCW, right? And it just could have been an ego thing. And that's the one thing that you can't really say about a dude like Jericho, which is, hey, this is a guy that definitely knows how to put the egos to the side, and whatever is smart booking, whatever's best for business, he's definitely going to make it happen and everything. So definitely got to give him mad props for that. That was a damn good setup, the way everything had laid out for tonight, especially with them putting over SCU. You know, it's like, wow, you were able to do that to the AEW World Champion? Like, what the hell? You know, but now the bigger question becomes, you know, what exactly is next for Jericho? Because, you know, right now, as it stands, we don't know where the next challenger is going to be coming from to face him for his championship. And an interesting related note, I think it might have been Tony Khan. I got to see if I can find that article, and maybe we can talk about it next week. But I remember coming across some article where the talk was perhaps come January 2020, that whole power rankings as far as the records go, that the records would probably reset. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know about that. I'm not going to marinate too much on that. Do I think the record thing is kind of silly to a certain degree? I think so, because when you look at a team like Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, Marco Stunt, and you see how many losses they've had so far, you know, okay, so, you know, just imagine for a second you're watching WWE, and for that whole year, they've got each wrestler's win-loss record. Just imagine a guy like fucking Dolph Ziggler, right? Everybody usually goes, and even Dolph Ziggler had said it in an interview, hey, you know, it's kind of bad and predictable when a little kid can go, oh, there's Dolph Ziggler, oh, he's going to lose, right? You know it's bad. And he said that in an interview a couple of times now. So just imagine if a guy like Dolph Ziggler had came out and you see his win-loss record and you're going, oh, yeah, he's jobbing tonight. I don't even need to, right? So, yeah, I can definitely see at some point AEW getting rid of that quietly too, mind you. I can just see it quietly. You just tune into an episode of Dynamite, go to a pay-per-view, and they ain't even bringing up the damn records. I can definitely see something like that coming about, and it's kind of smart when you really stop to think about it. It's definitely smart. Just going over some quick notes one more time. Nyla Rose, she had a squash match. I almost forgot about her. She had a squash match against a newcomer. Every time I turn around, we get some new women in AEW, but man, whoever is booking these women on AEW, they need to get a raise, because man, from Shayna, and then this week we get this one girl, and they're all beautifully thick and shaped. Man, I love me some women that got some shape to them, some curves and all that, got a little meat on their bones. Whoever's booking these new women, man, I'm loving it. I mean, take your pick, man. B. Presley, or you can freaking go with Jamie Hayter, right? Jamie Hayter, man, right? But then you got Shayna, and then you had a new girl tonight. A new girl, let me see if I can pull up her name real quick here, because I'm looking at my notes here. The new girl, Danny Jordan. Yeah, Danny Jordan. I'm like, ooh, who's that cute little thing, right? Little thick, plump little thing, too. Nice little in the back and everything, like, okay, what's going on? Only thing I didn't like with regards to this match that she had and everything, she was smiling too much. It's the only thing I didn't like. If I got one little bone to pick with her on, and that would, I don't know who's training these girls, telling them their spots that they need to do in these matches and everything, who's doing the booking and all that. But the next time she's booked for an AEW match, I need her to do less smiling. and I need her to sell the scared and intimidated factor, because you got somebody that's called the Man Beast in Nyla Rose, or the Beast, Nyla Rose, right? And she is supposed to be this powerhouse, destructive force that you just don't want to fuck around with, right? Okay, and then you have her in the ring against someone like a Danny Jordan, who, hey, I don't know, to her credit, just to play devil's advocate, maybe she was a little bit nervous. Maybe she was kind of excited about this opportunity that, hey, my fan base, a little bit of fan base that I have, not that it's little, I'm not saying, because I don't even know how her following is. I'm just saying, man, I know my fan base are going to be watching this because I put the tweets out. I went on Instagram and, oh man, I'm on TNT right now. And I don't know if maybe she had all of that going in her head, but she was cheesing way too fucking much for me. Way too fucking much. Before the bell could even ring. I need her to start looking intimidated, like the minute that Nyla Rose's music comes on, or just imagine if that was Awesome Khan. If Awesome Khan fucking, night and day, by the way, too. Night and day. It was a squash match. Nyla Rose came out on top. But when I say night and day, like after that match was over, you go to Tony Schiavone, and he's talking to one of the newest acquisitions for the AEW roster. One of my personal favorites, too. Allie. Oh, man. I love Allie. Didn't care too much for half of her run in Impact Wrestling, but the second half I enjoyed. As she was on her way out the door. The second half I enjoyed. But, we see her talking and everything, and pretty much talking about how, she's excited to be, part of AEW and everything. She's been doing her thing on AEW Dark for the past several weeks, but that now she feels as though she's ready for the big leagues, and that, that's why she was there in that segment with Schiavone and everything. And then you had Awesome Khan come out. You hear the music and everything, and night and day. So Danny Jordan smiling and everything. Allie looking a little bit scared, looking intimidated, but then says, well, fuck this. If this girl is about to come kick my ass, I'm not just going to stand here and take the ass kicking. I'm going to actually run to her and I'll bring the fight to her. The hell with it, right? That's what I'm talking about, right? So just those little mannerisms that she had, and how she just said, fuck this, and just took the fight to freaking Awesome Khan and everything. I like that. Of course, she got her ass handed to her. Come on, Awesome Khan and everything. And once again, Brandy can't make her rabbit stew without a couple of pieces of hair. You saw what I did there? But instead of, you get it? Because it's real hair, right? I know, cheesy as hell. I'll shut up now. But no, look, I still don't know what's going on with Brandy. Your guess is good as mine. Like, seriously, I don't know if she's collecting these hairs for some rabbit stew. I don't know what's going on, man. I really don't know. Curious minds want to know. Most importantly, what is this connection that Brandy has with Kong? Like why does Kong continue to do Brandy's bidding? What is the end game? What's the big payoff for Kong, right? So yeah. Other than that, I don't really think there's anything else we need to talk about from both respected shows tonight. I'm just looking at the notes one more time. So yeah, I mean, overall, looking at NXT, yeah, definitely their main event match with Mia Yim taking on Io Shirai. Got to give that a solid nod. Roderick Strong taking on Keith Lee. Definitely got to give that a solid thumbs up. AEW, I definitely got to give the nod to freaking... definitely got... Oh, yeah, Pac and Paige. Yeah, I almost forgot about that. Pac and Paige, pretty much a rematch there from Full Gear. Great fucking match. Pac just decimating the hell out of Paige. Knocked his ass silly, pretty much unconscious, continuing to attack him. Man wasn't able to defend himself whatsoever. Pac applying a crossface little finisher and everything. Paige not coming to, not responding in any type of way. Ref pretty much just had to throw the match out and everything. That was just nowhere close to what the guys had did at Full Gear. Maybe you could say the first couple of minutes, but Yeah, that was essentially a squash match right there. And if you're an Adam Page fan, you were kind of left scratching your head wondering what was going on with that. But yeah, just kind of going back to AEW here, looking at their matches for tonight. You know what? For this week, I'm going to give them the nod. Even though they lost, Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy taking on the Dark Order. That actually was a decent tag match. I will definitely give that to them. Let's see. Also on AEW, I will go with... I'll go with the main event match. Where Jericho teamed up with Sammy G, taking on SCU. Yeah, so... But overall, I would say NXT had the better product. I would definitely say that. Let's get into some headlines. We got a couple of more headlines we need to dive into. So we told you guys at the top that the other stuff we were going to be talking about on here, sadly, that got pushed back because there's more important stuff that had went down. So we'll talk about CM Punk in a hot second. I definitely want to sound off on that. But first things first, we got to address an elephant in the room, and that is Jordan Myles. Now, in case you had missed it, Jordan Myles, otherwise known as ACH, right? So you had this whole t-shirt debacle, and yeah, by now you know everything about that whole t-shirt. If you don't know what the hell we're talking about, you can easily go check out the RCWR show from 2 weeks ago, and you can find it that way. Matter of fact, we got, I think the title of the episode does reflect Jordan Myles, and we actually show him, the shirt design that was in question, and we got a black face. So you'll know the thumbnail when you see it, right? Whether you're checking it out on demand on the downloads, or maybe you're checking it out on the YouTube channel. But, you know, things have been kind of quiet, basically. Like some of the last couple of videos that Jordan Myles, aka ACH, has been putting out there. And I'm going to call him ACH from here on out, and there's a very good reason for it. Stay with me. He's put out a little couple of videos saying, you know, I will not be silenced. Basically, he's going with this whole, the revolution will not be televised, basically, right? You know, for the culture and all this other stuff, right? You know, I'll be making my presence felt very, very soon. You know, you just wait and see and all this other stuff. And you're going, okay, all right, you know, whatever, dude. You know, whatever. And so, if you've been watching WWE programming, nothing. Because some people were like, well, maybe this is part of some type of a storyline. And you know, well, it's been some weeks now, and we still haven't seen anything. And just to let you know that as far as, yeah, what's been happening ain't no goddamn storyline. ACH had put out a pretty raunchy video. And I'm not going to give him the 15 minutes of fame and share that video here. But I do have a transcript, a small little transcript, word for word, of what he had said. Now, in this little video that he posted, he's silent for like about, my God, it feels like an eternity. It feels like he's silent for about 15, 20 seconds or whatever, right? But then he gets right into his whole spiel, right? And the transcript here, and I'm see if I can pull up this transcript here. I should have the transcript. Hang on here, guys. Let's see, because I remember doing a copy and pasting. Here we go. And I quote, "As of today, I'd like to officially announce that I quit fucking WWE. I am no longer employed. I refuse to work for that racist fucking company. I fucking quit. Fuck them. I hate that fucking company and everything they fucking stand for. All they ever did was hold our fucking people back. I do this shit for the culture. I don't need anyone's fucking permission to do what I want to do. Screw Jordan Myles. Don't ever call me by that slave name. Call me ACH, and don't forget the super bitch. I quit. Fuck you." All right, so that's what he had to say. Now, I'm going to say this as a pretense here, right? Because I know for some people, this is a very passionate topic. And there are going to be people that are going to be on different sides of the fences, right? But before I offer my 2 cents from a distance, I want to say this, because the last time we talked about Jordan Myles, and I'm going to start doing it from here on out, the screenshots I could have shared with you guys of some of the people that, even though they did not agree with what I had to say, some of the distasteful language that they use. And what I mean by that is, look, you may not like some of the things that I say on certain topics on these shows every single week, right? And that's your right. But do me a favor. Do yourself a favor, but do overall the RCWR community a favor, which is when you disagree with some of the things that I'm saying, just as I'm showing respect to you, I'm taking the time out, I'm acknowledging you, I'm responding to your comments, I'm doing my best to interact with you, I'm talking to you. I'm not talking at you or through you or over your head or anything. I'm actually talking to you. You know, it's like we're at a bar, we're having drinks, and we're shooting the shit on some hobbies, basically, right? Some of the shit that we've seen on TV. When you disagree with some of the things that I'm saying, give me the same courtesy that I give to you, which is I do my best to show you respect. All of our listeners, longtime listeners, when's the last time I've called somebody stupid? When's the last time I called somebody an idiot? When's the last time I called somebody a dumbass or you know, son of a bitch or whatever? You know, the answer to that, never. I've never said that to any of our listeners. I have too much respect for our listeners. I don't roll like that. And other people may like doing a name calling and everything, but I don't do that. And I think one of the main reasons why is because I'm older. You know, I mean, I'm not a kid, so why would I, right? So I say that because when we talked about the Myles Jordan shit from a couple of weeks ago, some of the comments that were coming in, it was like, whoa. And some of the comments I didn't even bother reading because it was like, you know, you motherfucker, you dumb, stupid, black son of a bitch, and all this. And it's like, well, if you're going to reply like that, delete. And it's like, I'm not going to read that. You know, why should I read that? All right, so look. No different than the Sin Cara thing, right? Night and day. Sin Cara been with the WWE like over 10 years, basically, quietly, just racking up 10 years, and just decides, okay, you know what? I don't want to work for these guys anymore. I'm done. Writes this real nice long essay, shares it on social media, explaining why he's requested his release from the WWE and everything. All right, hey, you're ready to go on to other things. God bless you, man. Hope everything works out for you, right? Your heart's no longer into it. You've lost that loving feeling. Whoa, that loving feeling. And now it's gone. Yeah, whatever that song goes, right? You never close your eyes anymore when I kiss your lips, right? And there's no tenderness like before in your fingertips. Now I gotta say the last verse, right? You're trying hard not to show it. But baby, I know this. Come on, sing it with me. You've lost that loving feeling. I got Top Gun on my brain now. Now I gotta watch Top Gun. But no, seriously. Okay, you write that essay? All right, cool. All right, more power to you. Jordan Myles, you want to do a video and you want to say, fuck the WWE, fuck that racist company, and holding our people back and all this other shit. And I'm just looking at this, and the first thing that's clicking in my mind right now is shaducky ducky quack quack. I wonder what Booker T has to say about this, because somebody black that I've always had a lot of respect for, going as far back to his tenure in WCW. And I remember how excited I was when he came into the WWE, Booker T. And yeah, man, you had that one story arc with Triple H, and go ahead, Book. Go ahead, Book, do your little spinneroonie. Go ahead, Book, entertain me. That's what you're here for. Entertain me. Go ahead, dance for me, Book. With your nappy little hair. Go look that promo up. Those are not my words. That was legitimately a Monday Night Raw segment couple of weeks before WrestleMania, where Triple H was defending the World Heavyweight Championship, and he had Ric Flair as his manager and everything. He was defending it against Booker T. And yeah, was one of the most cringe-worthy segments in WWE history. I would like to hear, you want to talk about Stone Cold bringing back his little network specials and everything, and his first guest is Undertaker. Give me a Stone Cold Broken Skull Ranch session with Triple H, and pick his thoughts on, okay, now that this segment that you did with Booker is X amount of years old, obviously you're in a much different position now, with the company. You're a much different person now as a man. You're a father and everything. How do you feel looking at a segment? I'm curious what Triple H has to say. Paul Levesque, the man behind the character. I'm curious what he has to say about that all these years later, right? I'm sure he would probably say, looking back on it now, if I could change some things, that segment wouldn't have happened. And what happened at WrestleMania, I think knowing what I know now, we would have put Booker over, right? But I'm curious, other than that, for the most part in WWE, Booker T had a respected career. He did. He had a respected career and everything, right? Kofi Kingston, say what you will. Say what you will about the Kofi Kingston championship reign. You could say he was a transitional champion. You could say whatever. You could say he was a very weak champ. You could say whatever you want to say. But the one thing you ain't going to be able to take away from him is the fact that he was anointed the WWE champion. And make sure you really home in on that. He wasn't a WWE Universal Champion. No. He was made the WWE champion. And for a lot of wrestling fans, that championship still holds a lot of value. Especially when you're just able to take a title like that, go back, retrace his history to all of the other people. You could change it. You could, whatever name you want to call it, but you can still trace back its roots and everything, right? So you're never going to be able to take that away from Kofi Kingston. What about my brothers in the New Day? All of them. Xavier Woods, Big E, everything that they've been able to accomplish in the WWE. What about my man Mark Henry? What about my man Titus O'Neil? I've had my jokes on Titus O'Neil over the years and everything, but my God, you want to talk about one of the greatest ambassadors aside from Mark Henry. You want to talk about a man that is very charitable, that continues to do awesome charitable things, coming out of his own pocket, doing things on his time, outside of WWE's time. I say that the way that I say it because he'll do things on WWE's time, make a wish, name it, whatever. But then he's doing stuff on his days off, and it's like, wow, this guy doesn't have to do this type of shit. Like what the hell, right? You see all of these cool cats in WWE that are doing really, really cool things. I look at a young up-and-coming woman in Bianca Belair and everything that she has been doing so far since she's been down there in NXT, and make no mistake about it, she is going to be awesome when she comes up on the main roster. Just all of the different programs that's there waiting for her, waiting to happen and everything. She is going to do phenomenal on there, right? And once Amber O'Neil, not Amber O'Neil, I am so sorry. Amber Moon is who I was thinking of. I don't know why I was thinking Amber O'Neil there. I'm already going to Women of Wrestling there. I don't know. We're already going to Saturday, and it's only about to hit Thursday. But anyway, I look at Amber Moon, and she's just missing a couple of ingredients. And once she pieces everything together, she's that next one. I still am holding out and am expecting big things for her. I think as far as the reason why she hasn't gotten any further just yet is because she hasn't quite broken that ceiling. She hasn't quite, she hasn't reached that that moment that finally Becky Lynch had and she was able to break through. Look at all of what Becky Lynch went through to get to where she is now. Amber Moon is still essentially on her own similar journey, but when she does break through and finally gets that one thing, she's going to be fucking awesome as well. But there are so many black athletes that I can look at in WWE. I was just very complimentary of Keith Lee. Keith Lee is somebody else, later date. Yeah, definitely for sure. Looking at these guys, Cedric Alexander, right? Man, we'd be here all night, but I'm looking at a lot of these black stars. And I will be the first to tell you, I remember a time where it kind of seemed like anytime a black person was on the, damn roster or whatever, we pretty much went with some stereotypes to a certain degree or whatever, right? To my point, you can kind of look at what's going on with the Street Profits to a certain degree. Hey, you see all the stuff that's out there. They are Crime Time 2.0 and all this other shit. But for most fans, they say, well, shit, man, Street Profits taking on Crime Time, that would be kind of interesting. Shit, just get me a segment where those tag teams are involved. Man, watch the moneymaker there, right? That would win some points, man. Mad brownie points with the fans, right? But Street Profits, that's another team you look at and you go, man, the sky's the limit for these dudes. These dudes, man. All right, so you're looking at all of these examples of what's going on with these black stars. And I look at a guy like ACH. ACH, okay, you don't like what's going on with your position in the WWE. Okay, that's one thing. That's one thing. I still feel in my heart of hearts that WWE, their marketing team, their t-shirt designing people and all that, I still feel in my heart of hearts they meant well. They did not have the intent, let's go out there and let's make fun of this black dude. Let's do whatever we can to make fun of him and all this other shit, right? I don't believe that was their intent. I just don't. That in mind, what is coming off to me 2 cents from a distance is a young man that maybe had pitched a lot of ideas, some really cool creative shit, and he just kept meeting red tape. A young man that felt maybe hurt, that felt disappointed, that felt misled, that felt essentially betrayed. And as a result of that, okay, well, I gotta figure out some type of way to lash out. I gotta figure out some type of way to get back at these people and look, either this man is bipolar and hasn't been taking his medicine, or he sincerely feels the way he feels and there's no changing that perception. And he's going to continue to feel how he's going to feel. Also, the other thing to keep in mind, he's aware of the social media engagements that he's been getting, right? So most people, hey, this is creating me some buzz. This is getting me a lot of engagements. This is getting me a lot of retweets and anything that I'm putting out. Oh man, look at how many followers I had, guy. Hey, as a result of me putting out this new shirt reflecting this whole hashtag blah, 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 blah. Hey, look, my sales are up. Hey, I got a gimmick. I got to keep going here. Right? Sometimes what you think is, man, that's real. Sometimes you could just be strained along and everything, right? If you're going to quit the company, okay, I'm like this. I ask you all, how many times have you quit a company and you've let your voice be heard on social media? Like when you were getting ready to quit the company, how many of you had cut a video saying to your employer that you had quit? How many of you guys had wrote an essay and you had shared it on social media talking about how, I'm going to be asking for my release from the company, or I'm going to be, if to my followers, to my friends, just so you guys know, I've been working at so and so for X amount of years, and I've decided that I'm going to go on ahead and put in my 2 weeks notice because blah 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 blah. No, real talk here. When you're fed up with your employer or you're ready to part ways with your employer, what do? You go on ahead and you quietly pull your supervisor to the side, you break the news, or maybe you do type up a letter and you put it in your supervisor's mailbox, and that's pretty much the end of it, and they get it. Okay, so your last day is going to be, okay, well, all right, I will appreciate that, and okay, yeah, awesome, cool, right? You just do it. You do what you got to do, and I don't know, it just seems like in this day and age, I'm noticing it, more and more people, it seems, as far as when they're making the announcement about, oh, I'm getting ready to leave this company, or I'm getting ready to quit, or I'm getting ready to do this. It's always got to be some type of a big, epic, look at me, look at me, look at me. It feels very hardcore vanity. It's just vanity at its finest of just look at me. I want attention. I'm craving for attention. Look at what I'm doing. Drop everything that you're doing and pay attention to me. That's how it kind of seems. Just fucking do it. Now, I'm sure that ACH is probably going to have people that's going to be like, yeah, ACH, you tell them, man. You tell them. Fuck them guys, man. Yeah, you tell them. And these are the type of dangerous individuals that you got to be careful. Because sadly, and just to follow up on something that I did say when we talked about this guy a couple of weeks ago, you sadly have some people, you guys aren't stupid. You guys are, for the most part, that's the one thing I like about our listeners, especially our long-time listeners. If you ask me, hey, how's that age demographic? Most of the people that check out this show, from what I'm seeing, the number one age range is 35 to 44. Second place would be, I would say, kind of like 25 to, maybe 30. And then third place, that's when you kind of go like, maybe it's like 18, 21 or some shit like that, right? But the big majority is 35 to 44. So you guys follow politics. You see how every single time some stupid little shit goes down, some people are, aha! So we just need to home in on that. We just need to take that little moment right there, and we can bend that to fit our narrative and use that as our base for launching this attack on. Perfect example, and we don't need to go all, but just a perfect example for our younger listeners. How many times have you seen some type of a shooting tragedy come about, right? And what should be about the entire world coming together, oh man, we want to offer not only our thoughts, not only do we want to offer our prayers and condolences, but we want to offer resolution, right? And everybody's coming together and all this other shit, right? But then you'll have some dumb fuck politician that decides, oh man, that would be perfect for me to capitalize on, because I do got my re-election coming up, and man, if I want to continue to stay governor and everything, I got to get in front and everything, and I need to go out there and I need to shake the hands of those families there. I got to meet with the victims of the family, and they try to use that instance as an opportunity to get their agenda and try to persuade their base, their listeners, potential voters, insert whatever the fuck you want to call them, right? So when I look at a situation like the game, because that's what it is at the end of the game, at the end of the day, it's a game, a deadly game that ACH is playing. There can be serious ramifications of this. Bad enough that sadly you have some black people that legitimately do not like white people. It's the truth. I hate to break it, but my brothers and sisters, I think y'all know this. You got white people that it don't matter how kind you are. It don't matter how you go above and beyond to help people or whatever. You got some white people, they'll do what they can to work alongside you. But when it comes to personally getting to know you as a human being, they could give two shits not, right? So you have to be careful because, you know, what you think is this is a great marketing ploy. This will get me engagement. This will get me this. This will get me that. And then even if he's not thinking like that, even if it's a case where he's thinking, now this is like legitimately how I feel, you still got to be careful because whether you like it or not, you are being looked upon. You got that blue check mark. You are being looked upon as a authoritative figure. That's sadly how it is with these people that have these blue check marks and all that. They are looked at as authoritative figures, and you have some people that are just hanging off of these people's balls like I don't know what. And whatever message you're trying to get out there, the narrative of it can be misconstrued in so many ways. In so many ways. Now, I'm not saying that ACH is racist. So let me make sure I state that perfectly clear. Which brings me to another point. This needs to be the end of him and his verbal shots at WWE and all that. Because while everybody is saying to ACH, you go, man, yeah! Okay, you know, if WWE wants to, and successfully they will win, they can take you to court, ACH, whatever your real name is. They can take you to court, and they can go, defamation of character, slander, right? Oh yeah, and they will win. They will win. This is no different than if a podcaster were to, you know, Eric Bischoff sucks dick. You know, he likes taking it up the butt. Conrad Thompson gives it to him every night. It's no different than, you know, something like that. And, you know, Conrad and them, by God, we need to go ahead and sue that boy. He gonna come at us like that, you know. We can get rid of his little podcasting network and all. We'll teach him and other podcasters a lesson. What'd you say, Eric? You know, so you gotta be careful. But this needs to be the end of him and his whole, well, however he's feeling with the WWE. That video, that needs to be it. Because if he continues this campaign and calling them racist and all of that, it's defamation, it's slander. Why do you think Dr. A-Man, with a little bit of help from the WWE, kind of a nice segue to our next topic, but why do you think he came through WWE at CM Punk the way that he came at him? Because that was a form of defamation of character. That was a form of slander. And one of the things that you're going to need to prove in court, okay, you know, you're saying that, you know, these guys, you know, they're this and they're that. Okay, well, where's your proof? What evidence do you have to back this up? And if the only thing you have is, you know, well, I was promised a push. I was promised a push. I was promised I was going to be champion. I was promised the main event spot. Well, my t-shirt had got this logo, and when I initially saw it, yeah, I approved the logo, but I didn't know it was going to be on a black background. Or my favorite one, no, the logo wasn't even like that at all. It was another logo, and okay, well then even more the reason why, as ultimately the person that is, okay, this is my name, or this is my adoptive name. This is my likeliness. This is, you know, this is my brand that we're talking about, how people are going to be perceiving me and everything. Okay, yeah, you know, actually let me be more hands-on about this. Yeah, you know, I don't really like that design, right? I don't really like that. So let me ask you something. If you pay an artist to design you something that you want to push on a t-shirt, okay, hey Gino, I finished the logo for you. Here you go. what is Gino just supposed to come up with the money even though he's not satisfied with the logo? No, Gino gonna be like, okay, that's nice, but we need to go back to the drawing board because that, I would change that to this, and I would, perfect example. Earlier today, as some of you guys know, I've got the new RCWR Show logo being redesigned by my man SHEA over at Nuclear Graphics and everything. And he hit me up earlier today, and he was like, Lee, hey, I just started working on the design. I should have it done, maybe a handful of hours or whatever. And I told him, I said, you go ahead, you take your time. It's all good. So he gave me a little sneak peek of how it was coming along and everything. And I was like, yeah, like that's badass. I said, but red hat. Like I've yet to push a red hat. And the thing is, I like red hats. And he was like, what, you want me to change it to another color? Maybe you want me to change it to black? And I said, I normally do wear a black hat. I said, but I don't know what type of background you're working off of right now. So I don't know if the background is going to be black, because then my concern is, well, how dominant will that black hat I'm wearing, how will it stand out over a black background? So then maybe it kind of needs to be another color, right? Depending on what type of background you're using. Maybe that's something we can kind of come back on later. And he was like, oh, yeah, no problem whatsoever. As a matter of fact, as soon as we're, once the design is done and everything, and you see how it looks, yeah, we can easily go back and change the hat to whatever color, no problem, okay? That's called dialogue. That's not called shitting on something. That's called giving constructive feedback. So if at any time you as that independent wrestler are looking at some designs from, be it SHEA or be it WWE or insert whatever promotion or the guy at the Pro Wrestling Tee store or whatever, this is your name. This is your brand. You should be able to feel confident and say, yeah, okay, we need to kind of tweak that a little bit because blah, blah, blah. You don't roll with it. As soon as you start feeling, I don't really know, then that's when you need to speak upon it. What's that old saying they always say? Usually at the weddings and other shit, speak now or forever hold your peace. When you have your opportunity to air out your grievances, to air out your piece, fucking seize it. Take the opportunity. But this needs to be the last time he does anything like this, saying the things that he's saying against WWE, because then you start going into some uncharted waters and there's just no coming back from there. I mean, poor fucking Colt Cabana, he is still hurting money-wise. He's been trying for years. He is still hurting. Ask Colt Cabana how that went with Dr. A-Man, right? Speaking of Dr. A-Man, good segue. CM Punk. So it was the shot heard all around the world after WWE Backstage went off the air. I picked the wrong night to not watch it. I had watched maybe the first couple of episodes before they went to their new permanent night, which was Tuesday nights. I guess they were doing like a pilot run on FS1 or whatever, those other nights that we were seeing it on. And the one time I go, I'm good. I see the stuff on social media as I'm editing Monday's show going into, let me see, Backstage came on Tuesday night, so you're going into Wednesday. So Tuesday night going into Wednesday, I was editing Monday's show audio to release on demand and on the downloads. And I see, holy shit, CM Punk. And then I begin to see the most misleading fucking title after title after title after title after title on websites. CM Punk working for WWE. CM Punk back with WWE. And it's like, oh my God, you knuckleheads, you knuckleheads, you knuckleheads, you knuckleheads. He's not working for WWE. He's working for Fox. There was probably only one website that I saw, or a reputable website at that, shout out to 411 Mania, that actually were not going in misleading. They actually said CM Punk on WWE Backstage, right? And it was like, yeah, that's actually more accurate. And then when you went in and, you know, read their story and seen a lot of their stories that they were following up on after that, you know, it wasn't misleading in any type of way. So to all of you fucking hacks out there, with your fucking dirt sheet sites, and it's CM Punk working for, and where do I even begin with this? Because I put out a tweet, and I forget which site that it was. One of you guys in the chat will probably remind me, but there was some site that basically were saying fans are bashing CM Punk, calling him a hypocrite, for, you know, calling him a traitor for going back to the WWE. And it's like, cue up my man. Cue up my man. What's my man's name? I think he's now in NWA too. Dummy, yeah. What's his name? I cannot picture his name now because I haven't seen him. And Eli Drake. I just had to go like that and it came to me. It's like, dummy, yeah. Let me holler at you for a second. First of all, it's not WWE. It's Fox. Okay, so when you watch these shows on ESPN, when you watch these shows on FS1, you know, you're watching these shows that happen to cover, you know, all NFL. It's an NFL show done by NFL experts talking about the NFL, and, you know, they're able to go all balls out and everything. I think a really good example of that, go to the NFL Network and Sunday mornings game day with Rich Eisen and them. And over the years, there has been topics that they have delivered some pretty impactful soundbite clips in some of the segments that they've had talking about whatever controversial stuff has gone down. Go to Kurt Menefee, Terry Bradshaw, Howie Long, Jimmy Johnson, and them over on Fox NFL Sunday. And over the years, there's been the same thing. You could go over to NFL Today on CBS, same thing. And has those people in any type of way, as a result of them being so outspoken, because after all, they're talking about football and everything, right? And some of the things that they're saying, you're kind of going, ooh, they can say that. They can say that on, but then you got to trace the dollars. You got to be like, well, not for nothing, but it's not the NFL that's paying them. It's the network that is paying them. So if at any time something goes awry and they are possibly going to be, you know, maybe out of a job, it's going to be at the discretion of their employer in the network. Okay, so let's really kind of clear up this whole confusion right here, which is CM Punk is working for Fox. His checks are coming from Fox. He's got that Fox money, baby, right? It's kind of quote Renee Young. He's got that Fox money. Okay, so riddle me this, and I said this on Twitter, but now I can expand upon it a little bit more. So for year upon year upon year upon year upon year, WWE fans, right down to the point at any given arena on any given fucking night of the week, be it Monday, what was Tuesday, now Friday, you know, pay-per-view night Sundays, any given WWE moment, chance of CM Punk. Man, it's been so many years now. Let it go. The guy's never coming back. No, we want him back. CM Punk. CM Punk. CM Punk. All right, so year upon year after year, chance for CM Punk. WWE fans have been clamoring for CM Punk to return to the WWE. Wrestling fans have been clamoring for CM Punk to get back involved in the business in some capacity. Year upon year upon year. I remember seeing this guy in Chicago a couple of years ago, and the big talk, oh man, do you think he's going to do something here at All Out, at the first All Out, right? You think he's going to show up? You think he's going to show up? That was like the main reason why everybody and their mama was at that first All Out. They thought for certain they was going to get them some CM Punk, right? Nah, you just pretty much got him at the Pro Wrestling Tees store that weekend. That pretty much was it, right? But fans have been clamoring all these years for him to get back involved in the wrestling business. But you had a majority of the fans that were, no, man, get back to the WWE. Come on, man. Come on back already, man. Yeah. Oh, man, could you just remember, oh, man, all those great CM Punk moments? Oh, man, what WWE needs right now is CM Punk. It just ain't the same without him here, man. If we had CM Punk, we wouldn't have these problems anymore. Man, the quality would be so better. Da, 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 da. So now you get CM Punk back into the world of pro wrestling. He's talking about wrestling. He's talking about, in particular, the WWE product, and he's able to do it in such a way essential to some of those shows that I just talked about earlier from NFL Network, CBS, and Fox, right? And he can pretty much say what he wants to say. He doesn't have to worry about any ramifications or anything like that. He could be as outspoken as Skip Bayless, my man Skip. Love Skip. And what do fans say, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. I saw a lot of praise. All right, he's back. Oh, this is awesome. Can't wait to see, his take on some of the things he's seeing with the product. Da 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 da. Man, he's so outspoken. Da 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 da. But then it goes dark real quick, and you got people. Oh, what a hypocrite. What an asshole. What a loser. Oh, wait for him to go crawling back to the WWE. Oh, wait for him to go back to... And it's like, but he's not going back to the WWE. Fox had this show, and they were like, okay, who can we get? Who can we get? They put some feelers out to his people. And obviously the price was right because they were able to snag him, right? So the same people that are for years saying CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk, okay, now you're finally getting what you want, and yet you're calling him the hypocrite when you need to take a look at yourself in the mirror and say, well, whether I want to admit it or not, I think I might be the biggest hypocrite because I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. Now, I'm proud to tell anybody, especially if you've been a long time listener, I've always been consistent with CM Punk. Always. I'm one of the few, the proud, the only that have been, there's a small group of us that have been very consistent with CM Punk. From the moment he did his thing on the Colt Cabana podcast, I remember that infamous episode of the RCWR show he did. One of our most downloaded and everything back then. We were going over everything he said on the Colt Cabana podcast. And, it was wow, can't believe all that had went down. That sucks. Okay, we understand why he, rolled out, why he did what he did. Well, God bless him. Hey, on to bigger and better things. Okay, no problem. So he goes from that, and then you hear about the whole, oh, he's going into the world of MMA. While everybody was going, fuck is this dude doing? He needs to stick to the pro wrestling. The hell is this dude thinking about? Oh, he's going to get his ass kicked. And I'm not saying this to suck my own dick. I'm just showing you the consistency from over the years. When I first heard that he was going into the world of MMA, I said, okay, well, this is that next chapter. This is what he wants to do with his life. He wants to know if he has what it takes. Okay, better now than be in a position where you say, woulda, coulda, shoulda. I've got some friends, and I'm not saying this to throw them under the bus, but I've got some friends that are gifted as hell. And the biggest sin that I'm seeing right before my own very eyes is the God-given talents that they were bestowed upon in some shape or form. They're just throwing it away. And I know in about 25 to 30 more years, they're going to be like, oh man, I wish I woulda, shoulda, coulda. They're going to be like that. And it's like, fucking live life like there's no fucking tomorrow. Because you're not guaranteed tomorrow, I always say. And I've been feeling like that a lot over these past several years, especially seeing a lot of my favorite actors, musicians pass away so young and or so tragically, right? Chris Cornell, Soundgarden being at the top of that list, Robin Williams, just to name a few. But, I hear CM Punk going into MMA and all that. Okay, all right, well, God bless you. If that's what you want to do, okay. When he lost his fight, he got his ass whooped. Yeah, now he take his ass back to WWE. Go back to that fake fighting shit. Consistency. Okay, he went out there. He did his fight. Clarity, unbiased. Okay, he went out there. He did his fight. All right, he got his ass handed to him. You know, hey, he's got my respect because most people talk a good, tough game. Yeah, pay me that same money too. I'll go in there and get my ass whooped. And then when it's like, okay, well, here you go. Here's your money. Go get your ass whooped. I'm sick. Or I can't get out of work. Or right? All of a sudden they're choking. That's the truth. You know, you'd be surprised. Some people, they talk a really good game on social media. And the one consistency I've always tried to do when I do this show, any show I do, but in general, I always tell you guys that what I say to you on the shows and when I'm interacting with you on social media, I'm proud to say that what you read, what you hear, it's the same guy you're going to get in person. It ain't going to be you're just amping it up for the camera, or, you're just amping it up for the downloads, or, you're just behind the computer on your Instagram or your Twitter. No. I'm consistent. And sadly, most people that utilize social media, they don't operate like that. Most people, they talk a good, tough game. They try to look cool for their followers and all that shit. And when it comes time in person, all of a sudden, they can't fucking deliver. Right? So he got his ass whooped. Okay. My message was, dust yourself off. Okay, go out there, do it again. Find yourself, heal up, and figure out what's that next move you want to do. And then, okay, go make it happen. He decides he wants to do a second fight. He's going to get his ass whooped. I was optimistic. I said, okay, all right, well, that first fight, that was a good learning experience. Okay, him and his training camp, they should be going in there and be training a lot longer. They have been training a lot longer. Okay, well, if I said anything, I had concern about who his opponents were. I said, man, have him take on an opponent that literally has the same record that he has. Have him take on an opponent that is not as experienced. Just because you're matching him up with somebody that has a 0-0 record as well, or a 0-1 record, that don't mean shit. If CM Punk ain't got no, about the degree and whatever karate, and meanwhile this motherfucker's got a brown belt or a purple belt in judo or some shit, it's like, we already know who's gonna fucking win that. It don't fucking, come on, really? Like, really? Right? So, if anything, I had criticism over the opponents that were picked, because it really did not truly feel as if it was totally balanced out. When he got his ass whooped the second time, I stayed consistent. Okay, he went out there, he gave it his all. Okay, well, all right, back to the drawing board. You got to figure out what you got to do. Hey, he's got my respect. And a lot of people aren't going to do that. A lot of people, you're telling somebody, okay, you've been doing this all of these years, this one profession, this one particular trade, you've been doing this for all these years, and then now all of a sudden, after a couple of decades, now all of a sudden, you're going to do a 180 and you're going to go into this field, and you're going to try to be successful in that field. Right? That's almost like taking somebody that the only thing they know how to do is maybe transcribe audio. And they've made a successful career out of it for 20 something years. And then all of a sudden they just say, I want a new drug. One that won't make me sick, right? They decide, I want to try something else. I want to go embark on another career path or whatever. And then they decide they want to be a registered nurse. You get where I'm coming from? Like, yeah, you ain't going to be able to master that overnight. It's going to take some time. Right? And so my whole deal was, if anything negative I had to say about him in his whole MMA career, I said, maybe he started this too late. If he would have started this maybe 10 years prior, he probably would be in a much better position as an MMA fighter. Okay, it is what it is. Well, rest up, take time to yourself, figure out what you want to do next. always stayed consistent with my takes on CM Punk and whatever he was deciding he wanted to do with his life, right? And when it came to the whole wrestling thing, it's like, hey, as much as and I was always consistent with this, I would say, as much as I would like to see him back in wrestling, hey man, he's given us fans so many great, awesome memories that we can relive again and again and again. Was it a bit premature how he rolled out? Yes, it was. Could he offer more? Yes, he could offer a lot more to the business. But hey, if he's not coming back, like for me, I'm good. I'm not going to be hung up on it. But year after year after year, you had fans that would be so caught up on the, oh, if only CM Punk would come back. Okay, well, now you get him back to a degree. And we got fans criticizing him, calling him a hypocrite, and understand something. And he said this in numerous interviews, and he really touched upon this. And this is how you know who's paying attention and who's not. Obviously, you got a lot of people that did not check out what he had said to Mike Johnson of PW Insider when he was doing that CM Punk thing at the last StarCast. Not this one that went past this past weekend, but the one before that and everything. Obviously, people did not pay any attention to that. Obviously, people did not pay attention to the last round of interviews that Punk did. Because had you been paying attention, you'd have found out, oh, his temperament has changed dramatically. Self-accountability. I always talk about that on this show. Self-accountability in the form of when you make a mistake, when you do something wrong, rather than point the finger at other people and try to explain why something went down the way it did and not take any self-accountability, you're dodging responsibility. So the CM Punk that we've been hearing a lot of within recent years has been a man that's been very reflective and has said, hey, you know what? Looking back in hindsight, there were a lot of things that I had did, that I had said, that honestly, if I can go back and change a few things, I definitely would. I'm more mature now. I'm more wiser. And look, some of those things that I said and did, very immature of me. I just want bygones to be bygones. And you're like, okay, interesting. Now, how many of us have not been in a position like that where, man, I fucked up. And, man, I at the time you're going, I'm hell-bent. I'm right in my ways. You can't prove me wrong otherwise. I know what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is fact. But then later on, damn, you know what? I was wrong how I handled that. I was totally wrong how I handled that. How many of you, maybe a girl that you dated, or for you ladies out there, a guy you dated, or if you're in between, whatever, right? Man, I treated that person wrong. Yeah, at the time you felt you were justified, but then, time goes by and you go, man, what an asshole I was, right? I'm telling you, some people can look at some of the things that they've done in their life, and it takes a real adult to say, that wasn't cool. I gotta man up. I gotta own that. That's pretty fucked up how I had handled those things. I wish I could have done it totally different. I just want to make peace, even if I, no longer can interact with these people or whatever. I mean, look, I remember I had a fallout with my best friends. And the fallout that I had with my best friends, it was over like some stupid shit. Like, I can't even remember what the shit was, but I remember at the time I felt so passionate. I felt that I was so in my ways. I felt I was right. And there was no convincing me otherwise that I was wrong. You know how long that lasted? That lasted like about 7-8 fucking years. And then like the older I got, I kind of felt like Al Pacino in Godfather 2 towards the end. Well, actually, when you really think about it, in Godfather 2, he was being very reflective of when he was growing up. And then you see the end result, not to spoil it for you guys that haven't seen. My God, who hasn't seen Godfather 2? But anyway, but at the end, you see how he's, in the back garden and everything after what goes down with Fredo, and he's being even more reminiscent about the past and everything. I found myself as I got older and older, man, some of the ways I thought back then and some of the ways I treated people, man, that was wrong. That was shitty. What the fuck? And you know what I finally did? I said, well, if they're not going to come to me, I'm going to have to go to them. And I reached out to my friends, and I remember I typed up a nice little message, and I ended it with something like, if I never hear from you again, hey, we're good here, no hard feelings. And then I remember I got a reply back, and it was like a wave of fucking just off my shoulders. Like something just came off of my shoulders, right? That's the type of shit I'm talking about when it comes to being able to accept self-accountability for your actions and how you treat and deal with people in life, be it on a professional level or on a personal level. Now, I would like to believe that certain individuals in WWE, for all we know, they've probably already had that talk with CM Punk. I would not be surprised if CM Punk, Paul Levesque, Vince McMahon, if they've already quietly had some type of a little sit-down meeting and they hammered it out and they hugged it out and all that shit. I wouldn't be surprised if something's already happened like that, and at a much later date, maybe we're going to see something as far as a CM Punk WWE 24 special, right, on the network. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't put it past them. I just wouldn't put it past them. But it takes a real big person to admit, yeah, I was wrong. So for me, looking at this new journey in his life where he's able to talk about the WWE product, I look at that and I say, well, there's a man that has obviously made peace with his past actions, and he's trying to make right what was once wrong. Okay, that's cool, right? And let's be honest, if WWE wanted to, do they have enough of a little bit of a stroke to say, well, we kind of really don't want this person talking about? They got a little bit of stroke, but let's remember who's the bitch here. It's WWE, because for all the money that Fox has coughed up for this product, they're expecting some bomb-ass results, okay? And not for nothing, but I'm looking at things on a much bigger, grander scale with CM Punk back in the WWE, which is this. And this is another thing. Who's paying attention here? You're watching CM Punk in his interviews and all that. God, you got to go back to the joint he did with Mike Johnson again, as gullible and gushing as that interview was, at least for Johnson, because it was just comic book movie question, Hollywood movie question, all that shit, and not enough wrestling for me. But if there's one thing that you kind of really learned crystal clear, Punk really doesn't know what's been happening with the WWE product, which brings me to this point. So many multi-layers, right? So for the fans that want to see CM Punk back in the WWE ring, and for a guy that hasn't been checking out the WWE product on a consistent basis in years, okay, you expect for this guy to be able to go, jump right? Nah, it ain't going down like that. So having a show like WWE Backstage, I think that's pretty vital, because you're in essence getting Punk caught up to speed on what all he missed, and at some shape or form, I will say in the next year and a half to 2 years tops, you're going to get a CM Punk in the ring again, right? But it ain't going to be a case where CM Punk is going to be going full throttle. That I can tell you. I mean, ain't no way in hell you're going to be seeing... How old is he now? What is he, 43, 44, some shit by now? You know, it's been so long since I've been keeping track of his age. I probably made him too old. I wouldn't be surprised if he was actually 41, maybe going on 42. But my point is, ain't no way he's going to be doing a full-time schedule. He's probably going to be doing a Randy Orton type of schedule, maybe an AJ Styles type of schedule. Give him that Shawn Michaels schedule. He's probably going to be doing some shit like that. I see a very short window, though. A very short window. And look, when it's all said and done, this is the other thing that we all really need to look at, too. Say what you will. Warrior ultimately made peace with the WWE. Bruno Sammartino made peace with the WWE. I don't know if we're ever, even the Macho Man's family, right? You know, made peace with them. I don't know if we'll ever see WWE make peace with Martha Hart, you know, for obvious reasons. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. And don't get me started on Billy Graham, because that's just an entirely different beast in itself. But it just goes to show you that never say never. It really, really does. When you stop and think about it, never say never. Now, let's address the other elephant in the room. AEW. What the fuck? I mean, for AEW to not bag CM Punk, what went wrong? Where did things go wrong? If anything had went wrong, right? I mean, I find that to be very, very interesting, that the connections that Punk had with some of the people there in AEW, and when it counted the most, as far as him doing something, right? Okay, let's toss you fans a bone. And I think maybe you can make the argument most people that are upset at Punk doing his thing with essentially WWE, but it's really with Fox, are probably the ones that had this fixated dream that he was going to be doing something with AEW. Be it as a wrestler, or I don't know, was he maybe going to do commentating work? I don't. You'd have to ask the AEW fans what they envisioned happening for him. I mean, I know at one point people were toying with the idea of Moxley taking on Punk. You know, that's one thing that was kind of floating around. Other people kind of like the idea of Punk and Jericho resurrecting Best in the World. Another thing that was talked about was Punk and Cody. So, I mean, you had some nice little ideas out there, but long-term wise, right? You're talking about stuff that can happen out of the gate. Long-term wise, what's the plan with Punk, right? And I'm only speculating here, but I can only imagine that maybe, just maybe, folks weren't really sure that Punk wasn't really sure. Oh, yeah, short term, I can see their plans for me, but what's going on long term? And maybe he just wasn't fully committed to the idea of AEW on a long-term basis. I mean, you can maybe make that type of argument. Who knows? But reportedly, take this news with a grain of salt. Our good friends over from 401 Mania were sharing this via Wrestling Observer, but take it with a grain of salt. Well, before joining WWE Backstage, you gotta work with me here. These Invisaligns, I just broke in some new aligners here. Before joining WWE Backstage, CM Punk reportedly turned down a hefty financial offer from WWE. This is according to the Wrestling Observer. Punk did have talks with AEW and met with Tony Khan. Khan reportedly offered Punk a lot of money to sign on board with the company. And for whatever respected reasons, Punk had went on ahead and turned that down. Didn't sign with them. So, you know, very, very interesting. Very interesting. So, I mean, you got to think, though, not everything is done without going to WWE. Hey, can we get your blessing for it? Okay, yeah, no problem. Sure, it's cool. No problem. No problem here, right? So the fact that he would not commit to AEW, all we can do is speculate, but until he does that one interview, and maybe that could be something that could be addressed on WWE Backstage. Fuck. I would love for Renee Young and them to be like, hey, any truth to the reports about you had an opportunity to go work with AEW, and if so, why did you ultimately turn them down? I would love it. I would fucking love it. Now that's how you are properly setting the tone for WWE Backstage, giving fans a little bit of a taste on what they truly can expect with a guy like Punk being part of that show and everything. Because, you would believe that, okay, we're going to have the sincerity, right? We're going to have the honesty, the brutal fucking honesty from Phil Brooks about all things wrestling, but particularly WWE and everything. Okay, well, here's a great opportunity where you got Booker and Renee Young. That would be a really great question. Any truth to the rumors? What happened? Why did you turn them down and everything? I would like to know. I would love to know. I would like to see how Tony Khan, we've yet to hear Tony Khan add validity to this report. I'm curious. Okay, yeah, so what did happen? Were you in fact trying to negotiate with him? How far along did you get? Why did things fall apart? Did you get a call or a text from him saying that he was going to go in a different direction, or what happened right there? So there's a lot of stuff that's in this that's still continuing to develop, but when it's all said and done, let's deal with the facts. Punk is back talking about wrestling, and he's doing it on fucking Fox, right? He's doing it on FS1. And this is awesome on so many levels, because I was saying this to a couple of friends the other day, and I said, if I have any concern about WWE Backstage, I don't really like the time that the show is on right now. I don't like the fact that it's on at 11 o'clock at night. But Mish brought up a good point. He's like, no, the timing is perfect. Honestly, late night news is basically on, and pretty much all the other wrestling shows or whatever, they've pretty much gone off the air. No, it's actually a really good time, but I beg to differ. I kind of wish that maybe the show was on at 10 o'clock at night. I really do, because I think the 10 o'clock slot would fit better, and I think they could reach even more people. But let's see what happens at this 11 o'clock slot with Punk on board, right? I will say this, for FS1, it's fucking awesome, because FS1, this is a network that has only had a few years under its belt in original programming, right? From First Things First, Undisputed, Speak for Yourself and all that, able to get Colin Cowherd to, come on over and do his show on there and everything. So, they are still trying to carve out their identity and everything. And remember the numbers from when SmackDown was on FS1 a couple of weeks back? If I'm not mistaken, I think they did like 800 and something thousand viewers or whatever. And I remember I had came on the show and said they would need to take all of their FS1 shows and do 2 rounds for like at least 4 of their shows. They would need to basically combine for 8 shows to match up to what SmackDown did in one night and everything. So, I'm curious to see how the numbers did for this show, particularly on the DVR, particularly for the encore presentations. I'm curious how all of them are doing. I'm not really tripping over the initial live airing. I'm more interested in, okay, on demand, DVRs, the encore episodes, what's going on with that. But I'm definitely going to be looking at that spike. I'm expecting a huge spike for next week's episode, now that he's pretty much going to be part of the regular panel and everything. And I like that Alpha is saying in the chat, CM Punk is 5 years plus too late. He also said he's not signed to WWE, but Fox for the moment. Maybe he'll be on SmackDown. It is very well possible. It's very well possible. Now, if you want to say 5 years too late for maybe MMA, even 10 years maybe, you could definitely say that. But as far as 5 years too late, as far as a professional wrestler goes, 41, no, that's not too late whatsoever. Look at the guy, Punishment Martinez, now known as Damian Priest. If I'm not mistaken, he is 37 years old, and he's doing pretty good. Look at how old Samoa Joe was when he finally came up to the WWE. Look at how old AJ Styles was when he finally came up to the WWE. Age ain't nothing but a freaking number. It is all about what can you actually go out there and do physically in that ring. Can you still go out there and freaking hang? That's what it's all about. I mean, not for nothing, but we saw guys like the Nature Boy Ric Flair, once he got his confidence back in the WWE and everything, we saw him have some monumental moments in the WWE for a good number of years leading up to his Bon Voyage retirement from the WWE world. Don't bring up TNA because that doesn't really count, but we saw guys like him, go in there and, he was able to do what he was able to do. I mean, my God, we've got, how old is Chris Jericho now? 48, and it's like he's found the fucking fountain of youth. I mean, he is still able to go out there fucking trending like a motherfucker with his catchphrase. We just complimented the hell out of the segment that he did too, man. Out of that great segment he did with MJF. I Am Alpha, not late on age, but on the hype he made on when he was the longest WWE champion. His image is built up. He might let people down. I don't think so. It depends. Like, if you're getting the same CM Punk, see, that's the one thing we all got to remember. That CM Punk that had that longest title reign and, was able to get that new contract with the WWE and everything. One thing we got to remember, he had more creative freedom at that time. That was the one thing that he had made sure was stressed. Okay, look, you want me to come back, you want me to stay with you guys and everything. We got to do some things differently. You guys got to give me a little bit more creative control and put my input out there and everything. I think if it's a hand-in-hand situation, and it is a case where you kind of are letting Punk to a degree have a little bit of free roam, then, oh yeah. Now, see, here's the other thing. I like that whole idea about fucking SmackDown as well. But the one thing that you got to remember, you now got Bruce Pritchard that is pretty much handling all of the duties that Eric Bischoff used to have. So is freaking Bruce Pritchard really going to be able to, and I think he would. I think he would be able to work with Punk. And now we got people that are saying Chris Jericho is 50 years old. Hey, Siri. How old is Chris Jericho?
Chris Jericho is 49 years old.
49 years old, man. What's this about 50? I said 48. It's like he's 49. Come on, people. Get it right, man. Come on now. And I know he just celebrated a birthday too, man. So, no. We're making him too old. Let's not do that to the man. But no, Bruce Pritchard, unless, I don't know, I would be at this point more confident in Paul Heyman. Because after all, everything that had happened that first go round basically, involving being introduced to CM Punk in the WWE universe and all that was all courtesy of Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman was so high on that guy, it wasn't even funny. Right? So if you really wanted to make sure that CM Punk is off on all cylinders, then it makes more sense to pair him up with Paul Heyman, at least behind the scenes. it makes more sense to pair him up, and creatively they can try to figure out, okay, I have more faith in Heyman than I do Pritchard as far as where somewhere down the road that guy might show up and everything. But yeah. See what else we got here. Looking at some of the rest of the stuff that you guys are saying in the chat. You got me. TNT taking too many commercials. I don't know. I don't know. My memory doesn't go that far back. All right, so we went a little bit over. That's actually good. I'm happy that we did. So you guys got like about 2 hours and 24 minutes, and I'm actually good with that. I think on that note, we'll go ahead, we'll stick a fork in it, and we'll call it D-O-N-E done. I mean, there ain't really much more we can add to that whole CM Punk story, right? I mean, we've pretty much very multi-layered. We went a little bit all over the place with that one, right? So at this point, your next edition is going to be coming at you guys. I don't know if I want to do a show on Friday. I got to check to see if I'm doing anything for advertisers. If I'm not doing anything for advertisers, I think I might just rest up, take Friday off, and just chill. Come on back with you guys on freaking Saturday to cover more WOW Women of Wrestling. But I do want to get into some shout outs before we get ready to wrap it up. First, I want to give a shout out to some of our sponsors for tonight's RCWR show. Definitely want to give it up to InventionPatentDrawings.com. Once again, InventionPatentDrawings.com. Shout out to them. If you are in a position where you're getting a little bit sick and tired of going to somebody for designs for some type of concept, for some type of new project, some type of a new cool idea, and the designs keep coming back, no, that's not right, and it's frustrating. Or maybe you're trying to get something patent, copyrighted, trademark, but the designs that's coming in, you're just not feeling it. You want to make sure, as far as applying for your trademark and everything, less headache, the better. Invention Patent Drawings, those guys can help you out tremendously. You can actually hit them up on their site, and they actually will give you one free drawing to let you see, hey, as far as their skills go and your input, because that's the most important thing, your time and your input, telling them what you need exactly, and they're able to deliver on all fronts. They can hook you up with one free drawing just to give you a little bit of a sample about what they could do. Hit them up. Their website, invention-patent-drawings.com. Once again, that's invention-patent-drawings.com. Look them up. Those guys are pretty awesome. Also, I want to give a shout out to my man, what's his name? I got his name right here. The Count Crew Publications. I want to give a shout out to author Black Jekyll. He's got a visual graphic novel called The Rave, Lucky Number 13. And it's a visual graphic novel that's exclusively available on the video game site itch.io. And if you love horror stories with a touch of urban feel to it, a little bit of campiness mixed with comedy, check out The Rave, Lucky Number 13 by Blake Jekyll. It's the very first visual novel by Count Crew Publications, and it's based on short stories of the same name. The Rave chronicles Detroit's biggest underground party in years, but there's only one problem. The venue is inhabited by a very real and very vengeful urban legend. Again, it's got a vibrant mix of campy horror, cheesy comedy, Halloween-themed visual effects, whole 9 yards. You guys will definitely enjoy checking that out. I'll have all the links included in the episode description of the episode, but you can visit the website, and I'll actually post it in the chat here. You can go to Count Crew, and Crew you spell that KREW.itch.io/the rave. So once again, that's countcrew.itch.io/the rave. You can check them out. Those guys are pretty fucking solid. And I had a lot of fun when you guys get ready to hear it on demand and on the downloads. By now you probably have heard the audio I had recorded. I did like this suspenseful, creepy music. I altered my voice. It's really, really badass. You guys got to go back and check it out. It's good shit. I had a lot of fun recording that. And my man, Jekyll, he loved it so much. He was like, man, is there any way I can pay you a flat out syndication fee so I can like maybe use this on radio stations and shit like that? And I said, oh yeah, no problem whatsoever. You know, what's up, Gunna? What's up, Gunna? Gunna, how you been, man? Gunna's hollering at me in the Discord chat. Yeah, I had a lot of fun recording that, so that was really awesome. Also, shout out to our good friends over at the President Evil movie. Check that out if you guys love horror, politics, comedy. That's one you definitely want to check out. During the November midterm elections, 3 girls are, for some weird reason, stalked by a deranged killer dressed as the President of the United States. Check that out. You can see the trailer and check out the movie on Amazon.com. Also, shout out to LeafyAssets.com. If you guys need legal assistance and maybe you need it as a real estate investor, or if you are a entrepreneur and you're trying to get the best legal advice you can get for your respective business and everything, Leafy Assets can definitely help you. Their number one agenda is to do their part in helping protect your assets. So definitely check them out. We're happy to have them aboard as a proud sponsor of the RCWR show. And I know there's a couple of other sponsors I'm forgetting. I definitely want to show love to IamCanary.com. I definitely think it's IamCanary.com. Accidents do happen. We know it happens in life, and you got to make sure that you're prepared for some of those accidents. And IamCanary.com can definitely help you out with that. Take advantage of their great product. Their product can help anyone send a crucially important message in case of an emergency or an accident in life. They got great affordable plans, and they have more than 12,000 registered users since 2018 and counting. Shout out to my friends over at SHEABoo.com for all natural best skincare products, all made from natural organic oils and shea butter. Truly the best vegan skincare products on earth. SHEABoo.com. Appreciate them. Sharpen.net. You spell that SHRPN.net. Sharpen.net. Sharpen helps you meet your financial goals with well-documented videos. Sharpen is aimed at anyone who wants to sharpen their skills, avoid rising tuition costs, and transform their lives by becoming the best versions of themselves. Self-education is a supplement rather than a substitution. Take advantage of every opportunity. Fill in the gaps left behind by traditional education. There is more to learning outside of courses, curriculum, and lectures. Check them out, sharpen.net. And see, are we forgetting anybody else? Yes, we are. ShrinkFreeXL.com. Clean your stove, countertops, mirrors, windows, your car, you name it, without any smudges or streaks. Check them out. And also, special shout out to our newest sponsor, DirectHemp.biz. If you need the very best and legit CBD products, gummies, capsules, bombs, products for your pets, more, check them out. DirectHemp.biz. Once again, DirectHemp.biz. And also shout out to our Patreon members, you know, our sponsors and our Patreon members. They make shows like what you're checking out right now possible. You know, they keep the shows free and everything. And they also get satisfied because they get the exclusive content and everything. But our Patreon members, shout out to them. Patreon.com/RCWR Show. $5 a month, you get access to bonus audio, video content, great majority of which you won't be able to find anywhere else. You also get access to our new exclusive series, Wrestling with the Topics. We also have got the 30 with Lee series. And I was looking at the episode numbers the other day, and we're hitting 2 milestones in the next coming weeks, like less than 3 weeks, actually. Definitely under a month. Our first milestone we're getting ready to hit, we would have been podcasting for 8 years. So we're about to hit year 8. And the second milestone that we're about to hit is we're about to hit episode number 700. Yeah, 700. We're about to hit episode 700. So I'm kind of trying to figure out what exactly am I going to do for episode 700. I kind of feel like maybe we'll bring some special guests on. I'm not sure just yet, but we'll see how that goes. But more on that at a later date. Tony Bing Gaming. Shout out to Tony Bing. If you want the very latest in Marvel Ultimate Alliance, Marvel Strike Force, upcoming MOBA game, Marvel Super Wars, Tony Bing Gaming, walkthroughs, news, tips, reviews. He's the man. He's got a great YouTube channel. He's got a great Patreon page as well. Speaking of video games, WWE Supercard fans, Season 6 is now rolling. There's a few kinks out there, but check that out. I'm looking forward to playing that. I'm purposely not playing it until tomorrow. So actually Thursday evening after I get in from work. I think I'll probably hop on Twitch and maybe do a little something for a couple of hours or whatever, right? Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Legit, I am. Shout out to Freddie. Freddie! So Freddie, the heat has been fixed. We've got our system installed. Because as you guys know from earlier in the week, I told you guys that our furnace was out or whatever, and we needed a new system. So American Home Shields, they finally got the part, and they replaced the system. So now we got heat again. So this studio is gonna get even more crowded, and I'm looking forward to it because we had went to the Blank Art Store Starcast weekend. It was out in Baltimore, as a matter of fact, not too far, and got the art supplies. So it's actually going to be something else I'm going to be doing Thursday. I'm actually going to be setting up the studio here, make it an art studio as well. And we're going to start painting that Bray Wyatt joint for you, Freddie. So I'm looking forward to that. And I think one of the things that we'll probably do, I'll probably set up a hangout stream where everybody will be able to watch. Maybe I'll set it up via YouTube and Twitch. And you guys will be able to see like the whole process. It's going to be a couple of weeks, but you'll be able to see the whole process of me, drawing on the canvas, getting the painting out, getting it all hooked up together and everything. And I won't be able to type, I'll be able to just, say what's up back and, talk that way. But I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait to do that. Shout out to my brother in arms, Anthony Missionary Thomas of Wrestling Soup. Happy birthday to you, my friend. I hope you had a good, fantastic time. Shout out to Michael Wolf, John Davis, Joe Raymond Jr., Justin Ripstock, Sean Kinter. I'm pretty sure I mentioned Michael Wolf. Shout out to John Krauser. I don't think I'm missing anybody else. Check out the links. Make sure you check out the show Discord. You guys can interact with me in between the shows and everything. Discord, it's awesome. And remember, come 2020, some of the shows that you're checking out currently are going to end up becoming Discord shows. So don't want you guys to be left out in the cold. Discord, it's free to join and everything. And we're going to be implementing that a lot more in 2020. Like I said, some shows are going to be exclusive. And on top of that, we're also going to have some shows where listeners can just call in. Way I'm picturing it, like pay-per-view nights and all that, just a fucking hangout show. It's going to be some damn good shit. Looking forward to it. All right. So other than that, that is going to do it, man. All right. So we'll be back on, I don't know yet. I don't know. We'll see. I'm debating on doing a show Friday. I don't feel like I want to do a show Friday, though. So just stay connected to me. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use keywords, the RCWR Show. And I'll have my mind made up probably Thursday night, if not Friday morning, if we're going to do a show or not. But if we're not going to do a Friday night show, then I can tell you we're definitely doing a Saturday show covering Wild Women of Wrestling Fallout. That I do promise you guys. Appreciate everybody that was interacting live in the chat. Appreciate those of you that's going to be checking this show out on demand and on the downloads. Wishing all y'all to be safe and most importantly be kind to one another. I will see you guys next go round.